Should we do it? Let's go. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, and welcome to Let's Get Physical Media. I would just like to point out that, as you know, this show is unofficially sponsored by Kino Lorber. And when they started sending me discs, I was very excited because I wanted this, To Live and Die in L.A., early. This disc comes out, supposedly, on the 18th of July, which, if you look at your calendars, is in 2 days. I have seen neither hide nor hair of this disc. Is it going to come out on time? Is it going to still be the most elusive 4K title that I so desire? Kino Lorber's been killing it with the 4Ks. I mean, in one day, they released John Frankenheimer's The Manchurian Candidate and Ronin, and they were incredible. That was in 1 week. That showed somebody was going, hey, we can have a Frankenheimer double feature from the 60s and the aughts, or the late 90s, which was very smart. Where is To Live and Die in L.A.? Will it come out this week? Does anybody have an advance copy? I don't know.
Hey, my name is King. If you don't know who I am, my name is Israel King. I'm a writer, director, and anime commentator on my main channel, King Tannic. Now, if you've been a fan of pop culture for any amount of time, then you surely must have noticed the sudden rise in popularity in anime and manga. Films breaking box office records, series topping the most pirated show of the year chart, and of course, the very apparent fan base that has surrounded it. According to a poll back in February of this year, about 50% of Gen Z watches anime. Now, if you're not Gen Z, it can be kind of hard not knowing anything about this new, sudden, very popular corner in the pop culture zeitgeist. And that's where we come in. King Tannic and the Burnettwork have partnered to bring you the best anime and manga related news show on YouTube. The Otaku Experience is your go-to place to find out the biggest stories of the week in the anime and manga industry. Still not convinced? Try the show out for yourself. The show airs Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 5 p.m. Eastern. The Otaku Experience, only on the Burnettwork.
Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your pharaoh of physical media. It says right there on the screen. I can see it. Your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and whatever else you want to hang on me, I'll take it. Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is Let's Get Physical Media. And you know, also, I'm going to apologize for the sweat on my shirt. It is hot AF here in the old Rob Observatory. You know what I wonder about, though? I wonder about how hot it is on the other side of the world. And I only ponder that because if only I knew somebody on the other side of the planet. Oh, wait! I do. I know your favorite German, my favorite German, the world's favorite German. All the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, Mr. Dieter Bastian. Dieter, how are you, sir?
I'm back, people. I'm feeling good. And, lucky for you, we are not on strike, and as a greetings, imagination connoisseurs, Dieter here I am rocking like a hurricane, and welcome back to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media. Rob, the strike is going on. Is Hollywood still alive? Help me out. Is there still something going on?
Is there still something going on? That sounds like a song title. Is there something going on? Oh, wait. But, yeah, you know, there's something happening here. I think this strike's going to go on for a long time. Both sides, they're not even talking to the writers, and the actors are very far apart. There's AI issues. I mean, as we heard this week, they want to pay. Look, they actually said that they want extras to come in, people that do background work, have themselves scanned and sell their likeness away for forever. And people were rightfully appalled by this. But you know what's going to happen? If all of you fans of Lord of the Rings watch the great documentaries on those three, the appendices as they're called, those discs, you should. They're great, if I can say so myself. They talked about how for Lord of the Rings, one of the things they used was a brand new piece of software they developed called Massive. And what Massive allowed Peter Jackson and the filmmakers to do was create battling armies of digital doubles each one was individually programmable. So in various battles, they could make them go do things. So from a distance, you could show two groups of people clashing, and it looked like they were actually fighting. And they were, indeed, in a virtual space. Background actors, digital background actors that are completely synthetic, completely digitized with AI will create faces for people that don't actually exist. This is already a real thing. And we're going to soon enter a world where extras are going to be unneeded in certain movies. Now, it's still very cost prohibitive. Still, if you have to add extras in post, that becomes very prohibitive and very time consuming. So I think that for the time being, it's going to be more cost effective to hire SAG extras for the day. Yeah. But this idea, everyone's going to be so appalled by it, then people are just going to say, fine, we'll just use digital doubles, and we won't have any need for extras anymore. And I think that one of the things that I really don't think people quite understand the impact of how AI and all of these different tools are going to affect industries. Look, right now, if you use ChatGPT, I think there's a class action lawsuit being brought against ChatGPT because it gets wrong answers. Like if you're trying to write an essay and you're using ChatGPT, you better not trust it because all I have to do is like write one. If I say, for instance, write me a 10-paragraph review of Jaws. If you do that with ChatGPT, I guarantee you'll find five errors, 5 untrue things in that. It's not there yet. It'll get there, but it's not there yet. And I think that people need to realize, though, what we're facing, what everyone is up against, what all artists or anybody, there's going to be tools that are going to eliminate many, many, many jobs that people aren't even aware of which jobs are going to be eliminated because they haven't thought that far. So the great thing is that you and I, Dieter, can never be replaced. No digital double could ever be as witty as you are or as effervescent as myself. So, we don't have to worry about our jobs. Of course, you could go on strike.
And since we are not on strike, Rob, is at least the box office healthy? With the new Mission Impossible
it's funny you ask. Let's look. Let's consult with our friends. Let's first start with Nancy Tartaglione and the international box office. Everyone wants to know where Mission Impossible is. So here we go.
Paramount's the head start that the movie has gotten.
Yeah, Paramount Skydance's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 lit the fuse this weekend with a $235 million global start. Of that, $155 million is from 70 international box office markets, which represent 93% of the offshore footprint. Japan is still notably to come. Excluding China, where there are very strong headwinds from local pictures and amid contracted audience interest in Hollywood movies, the overseas debut on Tom Cruise's movie is $129.6 million. On a like-for-like basis, including previews, that's 15% ahead of Mission Impossible Fallout, which would make this the biggest opening for the franchise when removing the PRC. The launch was $25.4 million, which is 66% below Fallout, which released in what was a different time in the market. Overall, overseas, this is the biggest opening weekend in the Mission Impossible franchise in 35 markets, including the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, India, the Netherlands, and Scandinavia. Domestically, Dead Reckoning Part 1 set a 5-day opening record for the franchise with $80 million. As we noted yesterday, given the numbers through Friday, we were seeing a full overseas debut in the $150 million range, which did come to pass with a strong uptick on Saturday. It's important to recall that there is plenty of play ahead, with leg out expected, as is the case on Mission and Cruise movies. Japan loves Tom Cruise, and we'll get the movie this coming week, although there will be competition for Miyazaki's latest. And yes, there's an overall Barbenheimer on deck, with Oppenheimer and Barbie opening next week, but the idea is that when the dust settles, there's room for everyone. Essentially, the biggest drag here is that the hope was China would perform better, but there continues to be a disquieting atmosphere in the market with regard to studio movies. Mission Impossible 7 is still seeing pre-sales among the top 3 films for the next several days. It's maintained that the 9.4 Mayoan audience score, a number which often shifts in early play, but the film head-scratchingly lost screens across the weekend. In IMAX globally, Mission Impossible 7 grossed $25 million for the franchise's top start ever in the format and the second best launch of 2023. So that's rather exciting. And domestically, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 sets a franchise 5-day U.S. opening record with $80 million. Now we're over to Anthony D'Alessandro. Facts are facts, and Paramount Skydance's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 set a 5-day opening domestic record for the franchise with $80 million. Paramount is calling the global opening here at $235 million. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny opened to only $130 million worldwide. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning outgrossed Indiana Jones by $100 million its opening weekend.
Okay.
Asserted Paramount domestic distribution president Chris Aronson this morning said Mission is a global story, has always been a global story, and will continue to be a global story. Previous 5-day opening weekends belong to 2000's Mission Impossible 2, which cleared a Wednesday-Sunday take over Memorial Day weekend of $78.8 million. The 3-day record still belongs to 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout, which posted $61.2 million. Dead Reckoning seeing a 3-day of $56.2 million. So, pretty good. It's doing well, and Tom Cruise has legs. We'll see where it winds up.
Yeah. That will be the deciding factor, the legs of the movie.
Yes.
Next week.
And they have a lot of partners that are promoting the movie, which is pretty exciting. So here we go. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning #1, and the success story, I think, of the summer so far, The Sound of Freedom. The very controversial movie, from Angel has grossed a total of $85.4 million in its second weekend. That's pretty great. Insidious: The Red Door, keeping horror alive, $58 million at the box office. Indiana Jones is up to $145.3 million domestically. Elemental's at $125.2 million. At number 6, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is at $368.7 million. Transformers Rise of the Beast is $152.7 million. And No Hard Feelings, Your Girl, $46.5 million.
Still in the top 10.
Still in the top 10. And Joyride, $10.6 million. I would like to have seen more. And at number 10, The Little Mermaid domestically is at $293.9 million. So, pretty strong box office. Things are hanging in there. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. And we got two big movies next week coming out.
Yep. Barbenheimer Barbenheimer is happening next weekend. We've got Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and Barbie. I have to say, I mean, to me, Barbie is fine, but other than the fact that it's become such a memeable movie, are people going to go see it? I don't know. Some people really like it so far. It's screened for people and they're enjoying it. Who knows? I don't know. I hope all movies do well. So
and especially since those two movies have a moderate budget, I would say, both for $100 million. Okay, it could be profitable for both of them. Could be. And considering the Mission Impossible and Insidious franchise, because I watched Insidious from the 4K steelbook. No, that I bought. Still enjoyed it. Still the scale. And I was just thinking, okay.
Your internet connection.
Your
internet connection was a little wonky there. We lost you. It was going
a little wonky.
Yeah, what's up with your German ingenuity,
okay.
man?
I have no idea. Am I back, or will you put me out and back?
Yeah, let me disconnect you and put you out and come back in. I'm going to send you out, okay?
Back in, coach.
I'm sending him back. Yes. Sending Dieter to coach. Here we go. I'm sending you out. Come back in. No. You're back now, and look at that. You're back and in order. I mean, come on. You are coming from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. It's like you can't. It's like the old what's-his-face's routine. They're complaining about internet on the airport.
You mean the exact room?
No. It was, the disgraced comedian, why am I drawing a blank on his name, who was talking about somebody who was complaining about internet on the plane. And he was saying, It's going to space. You're in an airplane getting internet, and you're complaining when it goes out. I mean, I'm talking to you in real time. If you're a 2001 fan, I could ask you for a Bush baby, and it would be just as amazing as it was in 1968 when 2001 came out. So it's amazing that we're talking. So come on now.
Especially with video footage together.
Yeah, dude.
Just not.
I mean, I can edit in real time. I got a TV studio right here at my fingertips.
And like I said, considering Insidious, Rob, I went back to see what those movies made and what they did cost, and I was very surprised. The first one did only cost, Rob, 1.5 million to make.
Yeah, and that was James Gunn. That was James Wan coming back swinging and showing you. I love the first Insidious.
Yeah, the first Insidious, 1.5 million to make and made 100. The second one, 5 million to make, made 160 worldwide. It's always global intake. The third one, 11 million to produce, 112 million worldwide. The fourth, the last key, 10 million to produce, made 167 million worldwide. So this franchise is totally profitable. Even the newest one, which from the reviews that I gathered, I would say is probably the weakest one, just from the reviews. But even after the opening weekend, it was already profitable, the movie. So this is still a strong franchise, considering what they're spending, what their intake is. And I looked at the Mission Impossible movies too, Rob. Just a quick. So the first one did cost 80 million and made 450 globally. Second one, 125 to produce, made 550 almost worldwide. The third one, 150, so 25 million up, is actually the least at the box office with 400 million worldwide. Then the third, the fourth, or Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation were almost in the same ballpark, all around the $150 million mark to produce. Like I said, the third one, 400 million worldwide. Ghost Protocol, almost 700 worldwide. And the fifth one, almost close, 680 worldwide. And of course, Fallout, 180 from the budget and almost 800 million to produce. With the new one, it will be a different tale, considering the production costs of that movie. But Rob, let's get into the movie itself, because I watched your observation, and like you said, you normally don't do reviews of the movie, but you still give your opinion in your observation show.
I do.
You said you felt it is on the second watch. For you, it was a little bit empty, and for me, like you, I enjoyed the movie, but for me, it's not the strongest of the franchise. Even if the Mission Impossible franchise would be a tough one for me to rank, because I like them all, and like we both are, Rob, apologists for Quantum of Solace. We both are, as I heard on observations, apologists for the John Woo one. Come on, the John Woo one is maybe not the best, but it is the coolest. Rob.
John Woo, you know what? Mission Impossible 2 fucking rules. And you know what?
Exactly.
Here's the thing. It was the same problem John Woo had when he came to America. is that a bunch of people heard about it. This is what the problem is with Hollywood. So I'll tell you a funny story. I've probably told this before, but so I used to be a story analyst, a reader, a staff reader at William Morris, the William Morris agency. And this is in the mid 90s, like 94. And John Woo was a new client of, I want to say Chris Godsick, the agent, was his agent. And they brought John Woo to America. Why? Because John Woo developed a cult hipster. Everyone started watching The Killer and Hard Boiled and Bullet in the Head and A Better Tomorrow. And so John Woo in the early 90s became this really hip director amongst the film intelligentsia. And so the agencies picked him up. But no one really this is my theory. No one had really sat down, no one in a position of power had ever really sat down and watched a John Woo movie. Like, they just hired him because, and this is the look, there's good executives in Hollywood. But most of the executives in Hollywood don't do their homework. And they're certainly not going to sit down and watch some Hong Kong director's action movies. And if they did, they're not going to understand why he suddenly becomes a cause celeb amongst people like Tarantino or whomever. So he gets hired and brought over, and Universal gives him basically something to do that is risk-free, which is Hard Target. Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target. Universal's like, how can he fuck this up? So John Woo makes a John Woo movie out of Hard Target. And Universal says no. And they cut it. They go into and they recut John Woo. They bring John Woo to America. They let him make his first movie. And then they recut it and take all the John Woo out of it. And then, of course... mostly. But then, of course, the VHS bootleg of his original cut went all over town. I had a copy of it, and everybody was watching it. And it wasn't that it was perfect because John Woo didn't, write the script or anything. But it was way better than what we got. And I think on the French Blu-ray they released...
Exactly right.
They released...
an Easter egg, Rob. As an Easter egg. You had to switch through the menus to get it.
Right, and by the way, I'm waiting for my I'm waiting for my big steelbook, but once again, Amazon UK sent it via Ascendia. Last time I got something from Ascendia, it just never showed up. My Godard's Contempt, my 4K Contempt is in there. Hard Target's in there. One other thing's in there. And like, oh, we're sorry your product is late. I'm like, every time you use this courier, my stuff never shows up. Maybe it'll show up, but it never does. So, yeah, and I'm like, I want those discs. I don't want to say, I don't understand. It's so frustrating when I order something and they're like, oh, we'll give you a refund. I don't want a refund. I want the discs that I ordered. But so, and the same thing happened to John Woo on Broken Arrow. He got locked out of his own edit bay. And it wasn't until we got Face Off that we really got a John Woo movie in America. And can you imagine you're John Woo? You're basically, you're a workaday, you're a Hong Kong director. And you're making your movies, you're making martial arts movies, you're making triad movies, you're making all kinds of cool things. You're making your version of The Deer Hunter with Bullet in the Head. And you come to America, you think, great. And I'm sure all your friends are going, wow, you're going to America, that's amazing. And then you just come here and you get fucked, like so many foreign directors did. Like the director of the Elite Force movies that directed RoboCop. Come to America. Was it Jose Padilla or something? Let's come to, and we'll give you RoboCop to direct. And then it ruins their career. I hate that. I hate that pattern because the people, look, I understand the people that hire these people, you'd think that the executives would sit down and watch the Elite Force movies and analyze them and be like, okay, I've heard this guy's great. Wow, he really does something really interesting with action. And then they give them throwaway movies. They give them these generic remakes or whatever. Here, remake Total Recall, but don't go to Mars. Oh, okay. Here's Colin Farrell. I mean, I hate that the business of Hollywood works that way. What were we talking about? But Mission Impossible 2.
The transfer is really great on the 4K.
Oh my God, those 4K.
From the first two movies, especially.
Oh my! I watched them both. I've now watched because I got the steelbooks. I've been looking
That's
through.
why I bring them up.
The both of them incredible. Paramount. I have to say the last 4 discs, the 4Ks that I watched on Paramount: Vanilla Sky, The Firm, all Tom Cruise movies. Vanilla Sky, The Firm, Mission Impossible 1 and 2, crush. They're fantastic discs. They look and sound great. And Mission Impossible 2 has a great motorcycle chase at the end. It's got, what's not to love?
And it is the John Woo type, Rob. 2 guys against each other, like in Broken Arrow, like in Hard Boiled, It is the theme of the John Woo movies. So for me, perhaps not the best of the franchise, but the coolest for sure. And you even said, Rob, on observation, like the third one, me too, Rob, from JJ,
It's the movie. It's the J.J. Abrams movie I like the most, and a lot of that has to do with Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance.
Yeah. For me, actually, the third one, Rob, for me has probably the best opening because you are immediately thrown into it.
Right.
Now we got the trope 2 weeks earlier. It wasn't a trope at that point. It was still fresh.
Well, it was still TV.
Yeah.
It's TV.
But you were immediately thrown into the situation.
Oh, yeah.
They torture him. So for me, it's actually one of the best openings for a Mission Impossible movie. Considering the new one, the U-boat stuff was fine, but it was a little bit slowish for me at the beginning.
I felt like a Bond opening hunt for a... Well, here's my problem, dude. Maybe you can answer this question. So, spoiler alert. So... The villain is an AI system, right? And it's being the entity is being tested on this Russian sub, and the entity decides to fuck with the Russians. So during this war game test, decides I'm going to kill these people for real, setting up the fact that this is a malevolent, it's a bad AI, right?
Yeah.
How does it get off the sub?
That is one of my questions, Rob. Did the AI plan to torpedo it exactly that the technical stuff would survive in the sub?
But even if it did survive, no one's gone down there. They don't know where it is, or they do know, somebody knows where it is. But here's the thing. These are so I was interviewing, I had a great interview for Designing Hollywood that's going to go up tomorrow. I interviewed Jill Taylor, the costume designer for both Dead Reckoning 1 and Dead Reckoning 2. So, she was telling me in the Chris McQuarrie era of Mission Impossible, they come up with what they call their scenarios. That's what the crew calls them. The scenarios, the action sequences, and then Chris McQuarrie writes the script afterwards.
So a little bit like Ronin, Rob.
It's written as they go, kind of. And I think of all, because I really like Rogue Nation and I like Fallout. This movie felt like a first draft screenplay because if you think about the story that's being told, I don't think it holds together at all. I'm following this story. I'm like, okay, so there's this evil. We don't really know it's evil. It's just it's permeated every online system in the world, but it hasn't done anything. It throws a great party. Like in the movie, they go to that awesome. I'm like, if an AI system is going to take over the planet and get into our banking system, get into our defense systems, our power grids, or whatever, and if it throws cool parties in Venice with awesome light shows where you see the representation of the entity writ large on the wall, bring it on. I would like an AI entity to turn the entire world into an ecstasy-fueled electronic dance music 24/7 party. If that's what AI is going to do. More power to AI. And then when Benji's following the action, it impersonates Benji's voice. And it blew up a Russian submarine that was testing tech that shouldn't have been there anyway, that was lethal to the rest of the world. It was just... Yep. And as I'm watching the movie unfold, there was a really weird scene in the movie. I wonder if you thought this was weird. So they're explaining to Haley Atwell how it's going to go on the train. And they basically suddenly have a scene where they show exactly what's going to happen on the train. And it's like a scene on the train where she's now dressed up as the White Widow. And then it's almost as if Ethan Hunt is telling her how this is going to go down. But we're actually watching a representation of it in her mind. And then we cut back out of it. And I'm like, why would you do it that way? I mean, you're showing sequences that you shot of stuff that didn't happen in the movie that's like in her imagination of what she's imagining it's going to go down. It was a really weird choice because, also the movie, the first cut was a 3.5 hour long movie. Now here's the thing. Watching the movie, it felt like it was 90 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen a 2 hour and 48-minute movie go by faster than this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. It was so beautifully made. I enjoyed watching all of it. I just thought it didn't, in a way, what happened in this movie? It's like there's these cruciform crosses, keys, and there's all this religious iconography, like Deus Ex Machina, Ghost in the Machine, God in the Machine, whatever. And then there's this AI is gone but we don't. And everybody's trying to control this AI, and they need the keys because if you get the keys, you get the code because you have to get back to the original. They say the original code for that system is in that submarine. So we know in Dead Reckoning, and I looked up what Dead Reckoning was. It has different meanings, but Dead Reckoning used to be the way to navigate at sea using an object that doesn't move, like a landmass or something that's in. So that's how they would navigate. That's what Dead Reckoning means. So maybe it has to do with this submarine, or maybe it's a biblical reference, but whatever. That's what Dead Reckoning is. So you don't have to use celestial navigation. You navigate with a fixed position that doesn't move, hence Dead Reckoning. But I just there was not enough twists and turns in the movie. It's like, here's our villain. He's staying our villain. There's no, it's not like Phelps is revealed to be the villain at the end of the movie. It was very, very straightforward. And kind of Carrie Elwes was trying to buy the thing. I'm like, you have Carrie Elwes and you have Ritter on the same train meeting people at the end. I'm like, did they come together? Were they playing both sides against the middle? You got these two guys on the same train trying to make a deal. Where they work? I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. And the insinuation is that Carrie Elwes' character, the head of the defense department, or the director, the higher, whatever he was, director, and he's a bad guy because he's trying to buy the cross to control because they still have to get to the bottom of the ocean.
It was a little bit convoluted, Rob.
I don't think it actually held together at all. When you start thinking about the plot, it's like, but it didn't matter because all we needed to know is that Tom Cruise was trying to get these keys. And somehow in Dead Reckoning Part 2, he's going to have to go down to the bottom of the ocean and get that submarine and get inside of it, hopefully get the code out. Maybe.
For me, it was actually... I felt the running time, but it was not the movie's fault, Rob, because in our multiplex they did make an intermission with 15 minutes in the movie. And we already had half an hour before the movie started, So it's actually not the movie's fault that it felt a little bit long at that evening. And considering when I try to go through the movie's mad space, as great as the action was and the stunts was, even with the motorcycle stuff, I think the other movies have more stuff in it that I remember better, or I would rate higher. Just in the first one, the scene with the safe, that they broken into, or the, of course, Ghost Protocol, the stuff with Burj Khalifa in Dubai. I was missing that kind of scene that really stood out.
I think this at the end for me, like the motorcycle jump, we've seen so much of the motorcycle jump. I felt in the movie it wasn't like they didn't maximize the coverage that they must have shot on that scene. Like I would like to have seen more. And it looked like they had one rear or a green screen comp shot where you had the motorcycle and him falling at the same time. Remember that? And I'm like, if you actually shot this, why would you put that in there?
Yeah,
maybe that was an actual real shot. It didn't feel like it was a real shot though. So in the middle of this incredible stunt, I felt like I was seeing like an effect shot, which seemed odd to me.
Yeah, exactly. And the stunt would have, like you said, worked better if I would have known that this stunt is in the movie.
I know.
They promoted the stunt so heavy. So when the scene comes, okay, he's on the bike now. I was already know, okay, now he's driving to the mountain to do the stunt. And they did all the stuff in the train to get the keys, back and forth. And then I was feeling like, Ian Malcolm, are there any dinosaurs? And I was like, is Tom Cruise still in the movie? I felt he was driving around for an hour, to just get to do the jump,
Although I will say this, when he said, how are you going to get on? I don't know how I'm going to get on the train. That was awesome. When he actually arrived on the train, and the audience clapped at that. And I will say this, the climax of that train sequence was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The action was amazing, but for me, the other Mission Impossible had always that kind of special scene somewhere.
Yeah, I mean...
That stood out a little bit more.
Well, it's interesting, like Fast X has their big scene in Rome. Mission Impossible has a big scene in Rome. Indiana Jones has a train sequence. This had a train sequence. But I will say that truly at the end of the movie, the audience, I looked back, I went and saw it at Dolby the second time, and the audience was literally sitting there like their hands were over their mouths. Like the whole audience. And I mean, it was pretty cool to see. So look, overall, I enjoyed the movie. But to be honest, it was my least favorite of the Christopher McQuarrie directed Mission Impossible movies, because I love Rogue Nation, and Rogue Nation to me gets better the more I watch it, because you could tell,
especially the opera scene, Rob. Nothing like the opera scene is in that reckoning for me.
No, and that's the thing. These set pieces were fine, but like I thought that the chase in Rome. I'm like, if you're an assassin and you're working for somebody like Gabriel, if you're Palm Clementief's Paris, why would you want to draw so much attention to yourself? Like, literally, aren't assassins, don't they work in the shadows? And when she's driving around a Brinks truck, or a military vehicle through the streets of Rome, and at the end you've got the Italian police showing up, you've got the CIA showing up, you've got all this stuff happening, I would think that the IMF would want to keep more of a low profile. Like,
not today, Rob.
Not today.
But like I say, the Mission Impossible franchise did set the bar for itself pretty high.
Right. Yeah.
That's perhaps the problem. They set the bar for themselves already too high. So our little talk about Mission Impossible. Let me just point out the next movie that I saw. Rob, you mentioned it, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I never heard of the movie, but you said, you heard good things about it, and then I said, okay, I will make a mental note about that movie. Already pre-ordered it, and then I went to Rotten Tomatoes, Rob, and I thought, ooh, holy moly, it's only gotten 25% or something like that, and I thought, whoa. But I bought it digitally, Rob, and I had a great time with it. You told us about it. God is a bullet.
Dude. Come on. I haven't seen it. What'd you think?
Totally had
Nick Cassavetes.
Great time. Yeah. Great time with it. Rob, I have for the longest time not seen that bloody shootouts in a movie. So John Wick has nothing on God is a bullet from the blood perspective.
Oh yeah.
Even if it was mostly done CGI. And yes, this is a pretty, like I said, exploitation movie. So it's not for the critics of today, Rob. That's the problem.
Well,
it's
yeah,
not made
but I've heard it as an exploitation movie that it's great.
Yeah, exactly, Rob. Exactly, and that's why I will keep the pre-order open. But I was just surprised to go on Rotten Tomatoes. What, 25%? But Rob said movie is. He had great things about it.
Come on, dude. I wouldn't steer you wrong when it comes to movies like this. You and I know that we have to watch them ourselves and make a decision, because like you said, we live in a prudish, I mean, I never would have said this, but when it comes to exploitation cinema, everyone's a prude. Nobody can handle it anymore. Everyone's like,
this movie is misogynistic to some degree, definitely.
Great.
That's how this world is presented to us.
I mean, you know what? When people start talking about misogyny, I give you OnlyFans. I mean, it's like, come on. Well, I mean, what, you take it. It's like I don't know. I think when it comes to exploitation cinema, if you're going to talk about misogyny, we're talking about exploitation cinema.
Yeah.
So no one is safe.
For me, it was an 8 out of 10, Rob. 8 out of 10, easily. I forgot, Rob. Do you know, considering Mission Impossible, is part 2? Did they shot this movie already, or is there none of it?
Apparently, they've shot a couple of scenarios, couple of the big action set pieces.
Okay,
but
that's not completely.
That's it. The movie is shut down because of the actors' strike, and they have 2 more weeks before they can wrap out. That's what Jill Taylor told me. They can't work. They can't work, and with the way that Chris McQuarrie works, as he writes as he goes along, because these movies they're kind of making them up as they go in a way. I mean, maybe what's interesting to me is that when you have a break like this, the movie doesn't stop getting made. It goes into post-production. They'll edit whatever they've shot, and then Chris McQuarrie. I mean, theoretically, he shouldn't be writing, but he's going to write on his own. If he wants to spend his own time doing something, he just can't submit anything and turn it in. But if you're in the middle, I mean, I understand the writer's strike, and I understand SAG going on strike. I totally understand that. But when you're already in production of a movie that costs potentially $300 million, I mean, you can't. And I understand that's the whole point. You put the stress on the company, and cost them a lot of money. But I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in.
Okay. One other thing, considering I already displayed it here, Rob, James Cameron did mention something so beneath the table, considering we will get Alita Battle Angel sequel.
Yes.
She just throw that line in there, I will work in Austin, on some Alita Battle Angel. Is there truth to it, Rob? Can you get me something more?
Well, I don't. All I can do is offer my own personal insight. I think that they've delayed Avatar 3 another year. Yeah. It was going to come out Christmas of 2024. Basically, what's happening now is James Cameron probably has time because in order to do substantial work on the film, editorial work, he's probably got to wait for a lot of rendered shots. This is what I had heard back in December of last year, December of 2022, that they were already behind on Avatar 3 because of the render times of these 3D shots. These 4K 3D shots are monstrously huge. Every shot is huge, and you have to render it basically twice. So they thought that they weren't even going to make, and I heard the first cut of it was 9 hours long or something like that. And so,
Holy moly.
James Cameron probably takes 3 months off, allows a bunch of shots to be rendered so they can go and finalize the edit. So he's not going to rest on his laurels. He goes to Austin and works with Robert Rodriguez because Robert Rodriguez, like Peter Jackson, has his own infrastructure. He owns all of his own equipment, so he can sit there and do whatever he wants, and it probably doesn't cost. I mean, theoretically, they can charge money. His company can charge money and all that, but it's all paying itself, and he can write it off on his taxes or however it's going to work with him, and they can sit there and work on the movie. It makes sense because I liked Alita Battle Angel, and I thought it was one of my favorite. I mean, other than stuff like Desperado and El Mariachi, it maybe was one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez movies. That and From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, I think he's really hit and miss. But I really like that film. I think the problem is that, like with Ghost in the Shell, a lot of the things that happen in Alita and Ghost in the Shell, because these are older properties, a lot of those things have been adapted or utilized, those ideas, in a lot of other cyberpunk movies, whether it's Altered Carbon or take your pick. So a lot of that stuff didn't feel as fresh as it might have because Cameron was working on Alita Battle Angel since the 90s.
Yeah. You always heard about the movie, but it never came to fruition until it did.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully he's actually working on it. Rob, we are already 50 minutes in the show. I think we should show some physical media.
Well, take it away, Dietz. What'd you get, buddy?
Okay.
What did the trash?
The
bag?
first
I mean,
one,
how, and
I think-
we gotta sell one of these. We gotta put these shirts up as merch. I need a file so I can make that into a T-shirt.
Yeah. The first one, I think you showed last week, Rob. I got a 2, of course. Evil Dead Rise, and I
great
decided
disc, by the
to
way.
go with the normal packaging because I'm not really a fan of the steelbook design that they put out. And I was thinking, Rob, considering there are no extras, could it be that the movie was done for streaming at planned stage, so they didn't shot an APK or something like that?
Yeah, no, it absolutely was going to be a streaming movie, and when they were testing it, they decided it had such great test scores that they released it theatrically, and they made tens of millions of dollars. So they made the right choice. So yeah,
That's probably the cause that there's no extras, unfortunately, on the disc.
Which I would have liked to have seen extras about the physical effects and stuff like that.
And I think you showed this too last week. Truman Show.
Yep.
It's the German 4K. The next one, Rob, I watched yesterday. I have not seen Indiana Jones 5. That doesn't mean, Rob, that I didn't get my little share of whipping. I watched Safe Word yesterday. Rob, what is actually our safe word? Is it Shuttle Bay or Shuttlecraft? Our safe word.
Could be both. What is this?
Could be both.
What is this? What is this movie?
A Japanese movie about
Of course it is.
a girl who wants to be a pop star in some sort of wrestling persona, and then she gets hired by a guy because he thinks she could be a good domina, but you have to go, you have to learn that stuff, Rob, and that you will see in Safe Word. I had a great time with it, some great laughs. So actually, Rob, good movie, Safe Word.
Well, if it's Japanese, I'll watch it. All right.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that disc? Where's that? Is that disc?
This is the German. That's the German one.
It is a German.
German
Of course,
just-
of course, it's a German disc.
Unfortunately,
You naughty people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, only German subtitles.
Oh
for it.
well.
And I have a lot of whipping, perhaps way more whipping than in Indiana Jones 5. Safe Word. Great time visit. This one I was really looking forward to, but I watched it already on digital. Great movie. Sisu, glorious
So
carnage,
good.
but it's just the normal one, Rob. So Rob, you only have to watch Blood and Gold to get the comparison between
Yeah,
the two.
which I'm going to do.
It's better, Watch Blood and Gold, Rob. Great one from Peter Toward. And I don't remember, Rob. Did you show it last week or didn't? I got the steelbook for Scream.
No, I didn't show it. I
6.
didn't get that.
Like Rob said, familiarity that doesn't suck. Still loving the franchise. And even inside is a nice picture of Ghostface in it. The Blu-ray is in the player because I was going through the bonus features of Scream 6. Then of course finally, Rob, another gap in the Cynthia Rothrock archive has been filled with Lady Reporter, and we did get, unfortunately, only the same cover this time from Eureka. And Rob, something curious for you. Ronnie Yu, the director of Freddy vs. Jason and Bride of Chucky, is the bad guy in this movie. He plays the bad guy in this movie.
All right.
And in the audio commentary, Rob, your guy, William Friedkin, is coming up in the audio commentary.
Wow.
They mentioned him because they said Sylvester Stallone and William Friedkin had a plan to do some kind of, I don't remember, a series or something. And were actually thinking about Cynthia being the partner of Sly Stallone. Something like that was mentioned in the audio commentary. The next one, Cat in the Backdrop, Japanese movie from the UK. Yusaku Matsuda, The Game.
The game.
Trilogy.
Yeah, I have that coming. I've ordered that.
Yeah. Have you seen those movies, Rob?
No.
I don't remember them. But I googled the actor a little bit. He had a part in Black Rain with Michael.
Oh yeah, I
Douglas.
know.
Yeah. So wait, let me just see the inside. Totally forgot. Sorry. So we got a poster and a booklet, I hope. Yeah. Got a nice booklet. And there are 3 movies in this package. So the whole trilogy. Looking forward to that. And the poster motif. What? Oh, it's nice. It's a little bit different. Japanese one.
By the way, but I
yeah.
just checked Amazon. My order from the UK from Ascendi, it says your package may be lost.
Again, Rob, are you kidding me? You kidding me?
I'm not. And you know what sucks?
I've never heard of that transportation service.
So the hard target that I ordered, the individually numbered edition, of course, it's gone. It's sold out. You can't get it. If you want to see all buying options, it's already gone up to, more money. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't understand. Like, I order this, the Contempt 4K, the Hot Spot, and I don't like that. So it's been lost.
God damn it. Just quick, I forgot, put it too fast away. From Lady Reporter, of course, we get booklet about the movie. And we got some lobby cards in it. So this was actually the first time Cynthia really had the lead in the movie. Mostly she played the second lead, but this was the first time she had the main part in a Hong Kong movie. Like I said, Rob, Ronnie Yu is actually playing the bad guy in this one. So this was my first haul, Rob. More later.
That's good. Okay. Would you like to see what I got? I have a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all,
give us a first little taste.
I'll read this because we don't have a letter, but I have a letter here that I'm going to read.
Yeah.
But I'll read it later.
Okay.
So, our friends from Synapse, God bless Synapse, put out the James Glickenhaus movie McBain with Christopher Walken. I love this movie. It's chock-a-block full of special features. So now, let's see. I think on Blu-ray I have The Exterminator, The Soldier. I think I have Shakedown and McBain. Yeah. I don't like The Exterminator 2, so I'm not going to get that. But I love McBain. It's great to have it. Go Synapse. Nice. Shin Ultraman. I love my Japanese sci-fi, and Shin Ultraman's pretty good. It doesn't look like it's gonna.
Which company, Rob?
I like this came out. Where did this come out from? That's a good question. I don't know who put this out.
Unknown label.
Yeah, it's a weird label. It's a strange label.
Okay.
It's MVD. MVD put it out.
Oh, MVD. Okay.
MVD put it out, or Cleopatra, but
yeah.
So I love my Japanese sci-fi. I love Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider's coming out. I'll buy that. The Burning. Got The Burning.
Nice, the 4K.
The 4K. I had to get The Burning. Been watching this movie.
I read, Robert, that's really a completely new scan.
Yeah, completely new scan. It looks great. And of course, this could be considered the first Miramax movie, Cropsy. Yeah. The Killer. A lot of good special features on it. Yeah.
And I was surprised, Rob, to see George Costanza, Jason Alexander in it.
Oh yeah, and yeah, this brand new transfer. It looks great. It's the best this movie's ever looked. Now I have, as you know, I told you, I went to Warner Brothers and I had lunch with George Feltenstein. We went to the executive dining room, which was very cool. I have to say, I'm a Caesar salad connoisseur. And the Caesar salad I had in the executive dining room on the Warner Brothers lot might very well be the best Caesar salad I've ever had in my life. I had a salmon Caesar, and they gave me 2 huge pieces of salmon, which was cooked to perfection. The dressing was homemade. It was incredible. So George bought me lunch. So thank you, George, for doing that. And George informed me, he said that he put me on the list, like I'm on the Warner Archive list, but he said he put me on the list to get regular Warner titles. So, and he said, when you come home, you might have something waiting for you. And George was correct. George was correct. So for their 100th anniversary, I got Rio Bravo, which is a huge influence from John Carpenter, and I got another James Dean movie, East of Eden, in 4K. So thank you, George. Fantastic. I mean, two great Warner Brothers classics celebrating the 100th anniversary, which...
So you're now sponsored from Warner completely.
Looks that... Well, I don't think they're going to send me everything. They're not going to send me everything. But, you know, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I mean, George... And I didn't even know he was going to do that. So he hooked me up. Got 2 titles. Speaking of Warner Brothers, I also got another Warner title that George was... He's a liaison with Criterion. So I bought this at the Criterion sale, not the new Criterion sale, but I bought it when Criterion had 30% off. Got After Hours, Martin Scorsese's After Hours. I love this movie, the 4K After Hours. This transfer looks fantastic. It looks great. I think George told me it was done on the lot at MPI. It's fucking great. Great disc. This would never came out on Blu-ray, so this probably would have been a Warner Archive title, but it went over to Criterion because it is Martin Scorsese. So go George, go Warner Archive, go Warner Brothers, and go Criterion. And I'll tell you something. George told me there is a Warner Brothers title. I'm not going to say what it is. There's a Warner Brothers title that I felt has never... It's on Blu-ray. It's never been given its fair shake, and it's kind of in my mind, when the movie came out, it was a big, big, big movie. But it's kind of been forgotten in a way.
Okay.
Not a lot of people have seen it. George told me that particular film is going to a particular company of some note. I'm not going to say which title it is. I'm not going to say which company it is, but I was very excited about it. Double Secret Probation. But it was something that made me excited. I was very excited. I'm like, fuck yes. Now, does that mean that the powers that be at Warner Brothers in their 100th anniversary are going to release things like Soylent Green, The Omega Man, Outland, Brainstorm, 2010, Contact? Are we going to get any of those movies in 4K for the 100th anniversary? Probably not. You know, George couldn't tell me because he's not involved in that. Yeah. But maybe. Come on, Warner Brothers. You got big science fiction movies that people will buy on 4K. Come on. I mean, even though... Do what Kino Lorber did. Kino Lorber put out Manchurian Candidate and Ronin in the same week. 2 Frankenheimer movies decades apart. Give us Outland in 2010. I mean, Peter Hyams made Outland in 1981, and in 1984 he had 2010 come out. Do it as a 2-pack. You know, although 2010's MGM, but it's owned by Warner Brothers. Come on, man. Give me the Peter Hyams double feature. How can you not put Outland out? Come on, do that. Yeah. Then I completed...
You could, even if they want to do it sparingly, put it in one MRA, 2 discs, perhaps reversible cover artwork on both sides.
And then I got the remainder of the Steelbooks, Mission Impossible 5 and 6. Now, all I can say is that Paramount, Tom, McHugh, when you put out Dead Reckoning and give us a Steelbook, please make it fit with these other 6 ones. Because they fuck us. I don't think
so, Rob. I don't think so that will happen. As a collector, you start something like that, you always get, What can you do? But they look really, really great. But I bought the movies too often.
Yeah, I know. But I had to get those Steelbooks because they're awesome.
Yeah, they look great. Okay,
so nice. I got more stuff to show, but I'll stop there for the time being.
Should we go to the Super Chats, Rob?
Oh, yes. Let's see if we have Super Chats. We shall see. We do. First of all, let's go back and see where we're at here. Hold on. First of all, I want to start with Thomas Logan. Thomas sent last night on Midnight Musings. He said, Bobby, for the love of God, for the love of George C. Scott, call Dave Parker now. That was at midnight last night. And Tom Jr. Jackson said 2 Gorns, 1 cup, because that was, as I was signing off, they were making Gorn jokes. So that was from last night. 200 Watt Studio sent in a super chat and says, I think I may have heard that To Live and Die in LA is delayed indefinitely. Now, 200 Watt Studio, if it was anyone else who said that, I would say, God damn it. But because it's you, you're just trying to get my goat. I'm not gonna play that. Homie, don't play that. I ain't gonna play that game. It better not be. But now I have to check into it. Science Lady, our friend Science Lady, sends in a super chat and says, wow, I am exhausted. I just finished watching the men's Wimbledon. Carlos Alcaraz was a well-deserved winner. Tennis, track, and field are my favorite sports. Do you own any movies related to sports? I have lots of movies related to sports. And if you like track and field, you must love Margot Hemingway's Personal Best. You know that movie, don't you? It's about a lesbian love affair within the track and field world. Come on, who doesn't love that movie? Personal Best. I've owned that in the past. I do not own it now. Don't own Personal Best. But as far as sports movies, oh my God. Slapshot, Semi-Tough, Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, North Dallas 40, Any Given Sunday. If you want to talk about car racing, Grand Prix and Le Mans. Just off the top of my head.
There are many movies about tennis.
I don't know. I don't have any movies about tennis. Match Point. Yeah. You know, the Woody Allen movie, I guess. Is that about tennis? I don't know. It's got tennis in it.
And unfortunately, I've never seen the Shia LaBeouf one where he plays John McEnroe, you know.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
Yeah. But I heard good things about it.
Yeah, I should get that now. But I like sports movies. I'm not a big sports person, but I like sports movies. And I like the Warren's skiing movies. So yeah, Undead Six says, so now we love James Bond meets Day of Our Lives. Oops, did I say that? Days of Our Lives. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about Mission Impossible? Or are you talking about Quantum of Solace?
Okay. considering Mission Impossible and 007, now we have actually Tom with a 7 outing equals Roger Moore, considering playing one character for the 7th time. With the second part of that reckoning, yes, almost he's then outgrossed Bond actors, considering just the amount of movies to do.
Yeah,
this one actor.
It's true. Alexander Wilson says the Barbie movie is going to be a blockbuster. Anecdotally, I live in the D.C. Baltimore area, the third biggest area in the U.S., and I can't find a showing that isn't sold out. It's going to hit $1 billion. Well, the movie has to be good. It still has to be good. And Barbie is going to be one of those movies that's incredibly front-loaded because it's memeable. It's not just a movie; it's an event. It's a hipster pop culture event that people are going to go see. So it makes sense to me that it's sold out. If the movie isn't good, it'll be killed its opening weekend. It'll drop 70%. But
Rob, since we always talk about the box office, give me your predictions on Barbie and Oppenheimer, domestic and global, both. Just a guess for both.
Well,
I write it down. We will see next week, Rob.
You want domestic and global on Oppenheimer?
Yeah, on both, Rob. On both.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay,
just a guess.
Domestically on Oppenheimer, I'm gonna go 50 million.
Okay.
And worldwide, let's say the worldwide gross will be 100. $100 million.
For Oppenheimer and Barbie? What do you think Barbie will make?
I think Barbie will open to 85 million.
Ooh.
Domestic.
Okay.
And I don't know how many. I have no idea. I know nothing about the foreign release of either one of these movies. But I would say Barbie.
I would just assume it's most international markets. But I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go 65 million.
Okay. So that would
international
make it 140 globally.
Yeah, which they'll be very happy with, and I could be very wrong. So tell me what.
Yeah. Next week we will see, Rob. We will see how your predictions will hold up.
Yeah.
Written them down. So actually, Rob, what you're saying is globally, Barbie in front of Oppenheimer here. Okay, we'll see.
I am saying that.
Yeah.
Because Barbie is, right now everybody wants to see Barbie because it's the hip thing to see. Have you seen? And if Barbie is a disappointment, by Monday morning, it won't be hip anymore. Right now, Barbie's everybody's
and of course
talking.
We have the runtime. Oppenheimer 3 hours.
Yeah.
How long is the Barbie movie? 100 minutes, 110, probably. I would just assume. I haven't watched about the running time. And we have, of course, R-rated against PG-13. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Barbie, teenage girls are not going to be running out to see Oppenheimer, except Science Lady and the people she knows.
Yeah.
They'll go. They'll go. And Oppenheimer is an event. It's a historical movie. But again, Dunkirk, which is a uniquely British story. It's a World War II story. Not a lot of people knew, but because it was Nolan, that movie made $500 million.
Exactly.
And even Warner Brothers was surprised by that. And I really like Dunkirk.
It had legs. Yeah, it had legs.
Yeah, so Oppenheimer, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Science Lady says going to see Oppenheimer with an astrophysicist. That sounds like an explosive date for me. Sorry, that's low-hanging fruit. That's low-hanging fruit.
But you got to take it, Rob. Got to take it.
I got to take it. I took an astrophysicist to see Oppenheimer. That was one banger of an evening. So yeah, I mean, so Science Lady, you have a good time exploring the cosmos.
Perhaps as a first social media reaction, I took an astrophysicist to Oppenheimer. The first social media reaction.
We had an explosive evening. People would go wah, 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 I'm sure the reviews are going to be full of all kinds of those kinds of jokes. 200 Watt Studio says the AI transferred its consciousness to the web before it destroyed the sub. My problem is the source code is on the sub. The AI buried its source code. Yeah, but okay, how did it do that? I mean, it must be a large file. It's not like that submarine. I mean, maybe underwater it could stay connected to satellites depending on how deep it was or whatever. It wasn't exactly near cell towers. So maybe they said that in the movie. I don't know. But yeah, that's the obvious answer.
I have to watch it again. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Stub McShave says R&B is the czar of tangential tales. It's true. I'll have word association. It'll remind me of something that has nothing to do with something else, and I'll just go off on a tangent. This is a physical media show, but you never know what I'm going to wind up talking about. But remember, it's all inspired by you. You imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. Roberto Suarez says, I read that Tom Cruise is older now than John Voight was in Mission Impossible 1. Talk about feeling old. That's some crazy-ass shit.
Yeah. Some nice information. Some nice movie trivia.
Yeah, that it's crazy. Alexander Wilson says, what is 70 millimeter and how is it like watching a 70 millimeter movie? Some of my local theaters are showing Oppenheimer in it that I don't even think they're equipped to show in that format. They have been building 70 millimeter projection rooms in theaters to show the movie in 70 millimeter. Literally, they've been building in theaters. So 70 millimeter, or as we like to say, 65.
Isn't that pretty cost expensive, Rob?
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Like that, just for one movie.
Yeah. I mean, so 70 millimeter, it's 65 millimeter. The negative is 65 millimeters, so it's huge. And then the 5 millimeters is actually for the soundtracks. So, like with everything, you're literally, if a film was shot in 70 millimeter and shot on that kind of film, it has far more detail. It has all kinds of, it's a bigger negative. And when they print from it, there's much more detail and clarity and sharpness and crispness. So what they did was they took the IMAX image and then probably. Now, I'm not sure if it was when they're shooting in IMAX, if he's shooting photochemically or digitally. I would assume he's shooting photochemically, but I would have to look into that.
I would assume that too, Rob.
Yeah, I would assume that too. But those are the problem is with the kind of cameras like putting IMAX stuff in, like they have digital IMAX cameras now. But if he was actually shooting in that format, but I was shooting in IMAX, that they would have to make 70 millimeter prints. So you're running a print so it still looks photochemical and you're still getting that kind of detail. I don't know. I would have to look into that, but I thought the film was shot IMAX, and if he shot it in IMAX, he probably did shoot it photochemically. It's just the problem with shooting in IMAX is those IMAX cameras, the older ones, are loud. So it's hard to shoot with sync to you have to shoot like MOS, or you have to have maybe you have a noisy guide track and you have to do ADR. I don't know how I'd have to look into that. But when you see a real 70 millimeter print, it's glorious. The problem is, I remember when Ron Howard shot Far and Away in 70 millimeter. That was like a big deal because people weren't using 70 because it's really expensive and it's cumbersome to shoot. So because you literally, when you have a negative that big, your camera has to be able to. The magazines are huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Sub McShave says, how does it work with production during a strike when it comes to booked hotels and things like that? Can they use the force majeure clause in a strike to cancel those kinds of deals and contracts with third parties? I mean, they can. Everybody's different. I think that they knew that there was an upcoming actors strike, that this could have happened. But yeah, I mean, everyone gets screwed in a strike. Most of all the crew, because remember, there's 100 people on a film crew, or 200 people, or depending on the size of the movie. And even if you have like 3 or 4 actors, because those 3 or 4 actors are striking, the film crew is out of work. The workaday blue collar film crews that make those movies happen, they're out of luck. And so when the actors strike, you're putting hundreds of other people that are not actors out of work for a long time. And it sucks.
Considering the actors, Rob, your friend Chris Gore would actually had Caspar Van Dien on Friday on the film thread, but since the actors went on strike, even Caspar had to bail out and said he wanted to be excused. He couldn't be on film thread.
And also you can't promote a new movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
but unfortunately, Caspar Van Dien was not on Chris Gore's show on Friday through the strike.
Yeah,
even if it was YouTube, something like that.
Gordon Waddell renewed his Post-Geek Singularity Hero membership for the channel for 3 months. Well, thank you, Gordon. I very much appreciate that. David Crabtree, our friend David Crabtree, who's doing his comic, who's been making his comic for a while. I wonder what his status is. It was looking good. My physical media pickups of the last 2 weeks. The just-released 4K of Scream 6. The 4K steelbooks of the Indiana Jones trilogy. The 4Ks of Independence Day, Shawshank Redemption, Apollo 13, A Few Good Men, and the Blu-rays of The Rock, Face Off, and Con Air. That's a very respectable collection.
Yes.
Mikey Lito says that To Live and Die in L.A. arrives Wednesday via UPS.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. Why hasn't Kino Lorber sent me mine?
No. Yeah. Hope it's on its way.
You just wigged out. Say something.
Hello, test.
Yeah, you're good. You're still good.
Adventure Square. I will hopefully get it out tomorrow.
Undead Six says he was talking about Quantum of Solace. Rob, you know that. Come on, man. Why you got to diss on Quantum of Solace? That's like low-hanging fruit. You know what? It's much more respectable to support Quantum of Solace. And not only that, Quantum of Solace's theme song, Another Way to Die by Jack White and Alicia Keys, is great. It's in my top echelon of Bomb thing. Yeah, it is so good. Combination of classic Bond and low-down, dirty grunge. It's great. It's great. King Rick.
It's unique.
Alexander Wilson, I forgot about this movie, and I shouldn't have, because Aaron Cummings is in it. Alexander Wilson points out that King Richard, the movie, was about tennis.
Correct. I totally forgot about it.
And Will Smith was great in that. Everybody was great in that movie. I love that movie. I love King Richard. Hang on, let me see if I can get you. You were flickering again. Say something.
Test 1 2.
Nope.
1, 2.
You're totally out of sync.
If not, put me out. Put me out and
I'm going to put you out, and I'm going to bring you back in. There you go. You're back.
Everything. You're back. Yeah, I am.
There you go. You're back. You're back.
At least we know. At least we know how to fix it.
It's true. King Richard, I forgot about that. I really liked that. I thought it was good. Garfield.
The slap put the movie away, Rob.
Yeah, I forgive Will Smith. I like Will Smith. I'm more worried right now about Jamie Foxx. How's Jamie Foxx doing? I love Jamie Foxx.
What I was trying to say is, this was the stuff that we're talking about, Rob. No, the slap, not the King Richard movie anymore.
Oh, yes, that's true. Although we should, because King Richard's good.
Yeah.
Barbie, including the 9- line to please the CCP, just shows how hypocritical the movie studios are. They sure do love to virtue signal. Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, I understand we're in a phase in our culture where everybody's trying to virtue signal and show. I mean, inclusion and giving marginalized voices a voice isn't a bad thing. The thing is, it's what was happening naturally. We were getting really interesting stories like that movie Tangerine that was shot on an iPhone, or all the filmmakers that were suddenly making. It was working. There was voices being lifted up, but what has happened is the conversation in the last 10 years has been completely derailed. It's been completely derailed by many different factors. And so the natural evolution of what our culture was doing, becoming a more tolerant, more just, more open society, has been completely derailed and polarized again because there are people that wanted that to happen. They didn't want our society to naturally evolve into something that was more just, which I can't stand. But yeah, the virtue signaling is it's a little out of control, and it's not. I think the worst part of it all is it's disingenuous, and we all know it. Everybody knows it. In everyone's desire to be inclusive, everyone is being disingenuously inclusive, and everybody knows it. And they know it's all bullshit, and it's being done performatively, and that's what's unfortunate. And I think it's bad. Alexander Wilson says, Rob, you're way low on Barbie. It's going to do 150 million domestically for the opening weekend. Maybe.
That's just 10 millions from what Rob was saying. Rob is saying 140.
Yeah, that's why I said 140. It has to be good. And the thing is, we'll know from previews on Thursday if it's good or if it's not good. Right. And if it's really good and people really like it and puts a smile on people's faces, I'll tell you, if it captures the female audience, because Barbie's going to skate through as being a novelty that everybody's going to have to see it from a cultural standpoint because nobody wants to be left out. But if the movie captures the female audience, it'll be huge. And if it's funnier beyond the female audience than people go, it'll be huge. But if the movie isn't good, and I have heard mixed things about it, then it's not going to be a banger. We'll see. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't have any indication. I said 140. What did I say? 140 million worldwide.
Exactly.
Globally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Alexander Wilson's saying 150 million domestically. Maybe.
Oh, just domestic. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I err on the side of caution.
I don't see that happening, Alexander, because you have Oppenheimer starting 2 at the same time.
And Mission Impossible. Still.
Exactly. It's still running. Exactly.
I mean, maybe it'll turn out to be the next Super Mario Brothers. Who knows? 200 Watt Studio says, my issue is the source code was on the sub. What the fuck? Yeah. Why would the source code be on the sub? It's not like scientists were working on this submarine to create this software before. They had to have created it in a lab somewhere or in a computer facility and then bring it to the sub. I mean, this is the problem. I think that if you start thinking about Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, it all falls apart. You're asking yourself, wait, what? Like the source code, meaning the original code that was written for this AI, why would it be on that submarine? Unless there was a bored submariner who's like, I'm going to write the greatest AI code ever. I mean, there's clearly that AI brain, that literal circular brain where everything's coming out of the brain. I mean, that's not standard issue in Russian subs. They said this submarine was a brand new test bed submarine. But you know, another thing that bothered me, it's like, so this AI, in order to establish its malevolence, this AI decides to destroy its home base. Like it's literally, you. I guess the only place this submarine's ever worked, or this AI has ever been, is in this submarine. Well, why would it choose to destroy itself? Why would it choose to kill those Russians?
That's what I was questioning you, Rod. I couldn't make heads or tail of it.
I don't know. That
at
seems
first
a little...
I was thinking that AI is somewhere else, and it's not in the U-boat. That was just a little thing, but it was. The keys were there, so...
I mean, if I had made the movie, I would have opened the movie with a montage of completely unrelated catastrophic events around the world. Different things. A power plant blew up. You know, a bank's... They thought it was a ransomware attack. A bank in Luxembourg was completely empty. Like all of these unrelated events around that were seemingly unrelated that caused chaos.
A little bit like the Syndicate. The Syndicate when he got into the Syndicate. The different terror acts.
And you know what? I would have saved the AI reveal till halfway through the movie. You know, when they found out, it would have been the twist. They think they're going because the AI had made them believe, and you didn't know that. Like, and another thing, here you've got Isai Morales playing Gabriel, who's apparently working for the AI. He's literally become. I mean, biblically, you have cruciform keys that were based on Russian Orthodox imagery. You've got a guy named Gabriel who's apparently tied to Tom Cruise's. Why not make Gabriel like this religious zealot that believes in the entity, that the entity is the new god of the machine? Like this entity has become self-aware and has declared itself the new god, you know, of the modern age, of this new AI age. I'm going to run the planet, and Gabriel is his first disciple. And that at the end of the movie, it's revealed that Gabriel walks into a room and there's like 1,000 people that are believers in this AI, and he has...
You and your cults, Rob. You and your...
well, yeah, but then you bring... You got the keys or whatever, and Gabriel says, or something, and sends them all out, and you know that there's like 1,000 operatives of this AI, human operatives, that go out into the world. Why not do that?
Okay.
Stop
thinking about it, Rob. Stop thinking about it.
I can't help it. Irene Jobson says Barbie will succeed because nostalgia and the relapse of what's cool now. I agree with you, Irene, but the movie has to be good. That's why it's going to have a huge opening weekend. But I don't think it's going to have, you know, a complete an opening weekend that's completely it might not be as successful as people think. But I don't know. Again, I cop to the fact I have no idea.
That's why it makes it tension filled. What's happening at the box office at the moment? Nobody knows.
Science Lady says, "I'm going with my brother." The astrophysicist. He thinks he knows everything. Okay, I got to give it up for Science Lady for this one. I once dated a particle physics guy from Austria. There was lots of sparks, but it all fizzled out in the end. Man, I love Science Lady.
Hey.
D. Dinks says, looking forward to the coffee table book, The Cinema of Powell and Pressburger in October. I have never heard of that, and I would totally buy that. The Cinema Of course, these are the people responsible for the Red Shoes and Tales of Hoffman, and of course, well, Peeping Tom, well, at least one of them was. Wait, I have to find out. I have to see the Cinema of Powell and Pressburger. Yeah. Hang on. There it is. Got to find out who's making this. Got to pre-order this shit. The Cinema of Powell. Oh, it's coming out from Bloomsbury Publishing. Oh, it's only $28.
Oh. So Schnäppchen, Rob? Immediately.
Oh, wait a minute. It comes out. Oh, it's coming out Friday, October 6th. It's $40. It's $40. There you go. So it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
Wow, it says I've got I have to update my Prime payment method. So there you go. And Alexander Wilson says, in Mission Impossible, would it be more important to blow up one of Amazon or Microsoft's large data centers? The world wakes up and half the files are gone in an instance. Yeah, I mean, something like that, I think, should have happened in the movie. I think that would have been...
So, Rob, you would be safe. Your order list would have gone. No?
Yeah, and no one could come. No one could come for me. You can't take me away. You can't take me away. So, yeah.
Nice.
So I have a letter.
Okay, Rob. Let's do your letter.
I have a letter. Actually, it's kind of a long letter, but I'm going to read it anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Good day, Rob and Dieter. The Sandbaggers is one of the greatest spy series from the UK. And here it is. The Sandbaggers. It's a PAL format disc, but I can play it. It was sent to me. Okay. The Sandbaggers DVD by the way, from Network, which recently went out of business. God damn it. The Sandbaggers is one of the greatest spy series from the UK. If you like things like Tinker Tailor or Callan, then this series is for you. It is unfortunate that Ian McIntosh, the creator, died in mysterious circumstances. Whether he was on the spy mission is another question. Ian McIntosh had a career in the Royal Navy Special Boat Squadron, equivalent to the U.S. Navy SEALs, as the series still had legs when it finished. Burnside is our main character, is the director of operations. The Sandbaggers are the special section, one of two departments, and the other is director of intelligence. Burnside is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week man who is under pressure because he does not play by the rules. He has a broken marriage behind him. He's a reformed alcoholic, a man for who the job is all that matters. Each individual episode is a masterclass in building tension between characters and situations without resorting to action. Very often the series revolves around people in an office, in a park, especially between Burnside and Jeff Ross, the CIA chief, over cooling McDonald's hamburgers. There's a conflict between Burnside and his immediate superior, Deputy Chief Peel. He is very much a company man and wants to play by the rules, where Burnside is a breaker of rules. There is also much tension between Burnside and his former father-in-law, Sir Geoffrey Wellingham, under Secretary of State office for the Foreign Office. Peel especially hates these meetings between Burnside and Wellington, as he believes it is their special relationship, much like Burnside and Ross, that is underhanded. For Burnside's part, he just hates calling on Wellington because it reminds him too much of his ex-wife trying to get her father to try and reconcile them. The other relationship with the senior staff is between Burnside and C, the chief of the service. Burnside gains respect over the series with C as a career diplomat, but he comes to value Burnside's decisive actions. Burnside has subordinates who are Sandbagger 1, 2, and 3. Many episodes deal with sending his friend Sandbagger 1, Willie Kane, into danger when he himself would like to be there to do the job, the wet work, as he had been a Sandbagger 1 in the past. There is an interesting dynamic between Burnside and his opposite number, Jeff Ross at the CIA, where they have to scratch each other's back often to gather intelligence or resources to do the job. The other main character is Burnside's secretary, Diane, who has to remind him to go home and not work all the hours under the sun and keep him apprised when other members of the staff are in, especially Peel. The series is not at all an action series, but when the action happens, you're on the edge of your seat, whether it's a hostage crisis or the search for valuable secrets, when to get an agent out from behind the Iron Curtain. It's a fantastic series, and just thinking about it again almost makes me want to watch it, even though it's only been the last year that I watched it. Cheers, Kelvin Wellborn, all the way in Australia. So I've never seen
series, Rob?
I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. But here is the complete series, and I got that from Kelvin. So thank you, Kelvin.
Nice.
I very much appreciate that. Most excellent. So what's next for you, buddy?
You can immediately show other stuff, Rob, that we
I'll do that.
didn't show physical media.
Guess what I got a box from? I got a box from Second Sight. Second Sight, buddy.
Ooh, nice. So what was coming out from Second Sight? Changeling? Perhaps? Oh, you got it before me. You goddamn son of a bitch.
You know, I love this movie, and
Me too.
and once again,
That is a final girl. That is a final
that
girl.
is a final girl. That is a final girl. You know, I haven't even opened this up because I just got it. Let's open it up. Let's do an unboxing
French
on the show.
Horror Revolution movies.
God
I don't
damn,
quite
I love
remember.
this.
Came it after Martyrs or was Frontiers before?
I think it
Martyrs
came
out?
after. So
Okay.
now this is just
I think I mentioned was the first.
this is just a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
which is fine.
I believe, Rob, the master is just a 2K master.
Yeah, it's just a 2K
It's
master.
from that era, you know.
By the way, I should say
But they
this is
shot
a
every
this
each-
is a Region B Blu-ray, so you need to have a multi-region player. Well, you don't, but I do. So, wow, this is cool. So this comes with, well, I won't open. There's a lot of these. It comes with a bunch of art cards, which is really cool. I won't open those now. I'll open those later. And then in typical Second Sight feature, God, man. I mean, if they publish these as over...
Rob, help me out. Wasn't Christoph Gans the director of Frontiers? Yeah. Okay.
Right? Wasn't he? Or maybe...
Oh, Xavier?
Xavier Gans, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? No, Christoph Gans, no.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Great,
it's
great.
Jens.
Jens, yeah.
So here's the book. And again, these thick... This is great. I mean, these books are great because they have really extensive essays. There's a lot written on the films. Point of No Return, Riots, Race, and Surviving the Right in Frontiers. Well, that's interesting. It's their middle finger to the establishment, a chance to grab a piece of the pie held just out of their system, just out of reach due to their systemic prejudice and discrimination. Wow, this is great. So, yep.
Awesome.
So there you go, buddy.
Yes. I hope I get mine next week.
And then he made... What did he make after this? He made the one where people are the one where they're in the like the bomb shelter. You know,
Okay.
that movie's pretty hard.
Wasn't it the American one? I know what you mean, Rob.
Yeah.
Forgot the name.
And then of course I got May. I might want to open May, but
Nice.
May came, and then of course, even though I got the domestic disc, I love this movie so much that I had to get the Changeling box set.
Nice.
Which is, and this is a huge. I don't even. There's tons of stuff in here, whatever's in here, but I won't open it up.
And
now.
the Changeling is a 4K.
Yes, this is a 4K disc.
Yeah.
It's probably the same master that what Severin put out, but
I would think so.
yeah. So that's what I got. Now not to flex, but when I was in George's office, he gave me these.
Some few titles.
So yeah, so basically, I went and got all the Warner Archive titles that I was missing that I wanted. So, should I show you? I'll rifle through them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dolores Claiborne, the TV miniseries The Blue Knight, which is actually a really good miniseries. The Cyclops, John Landis's Innocent Blood. And it's funny, George found this and gave it to me. Man from Atlantis, the TV movie, the original TV
with
movie.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, that was the original movie. Another copy of Leatherface.
Patrick Duffy.
Yeah, Patrick Duffy. Well, he was Bobby Ewing.
Yeah.
World Without End. I picked up Joe versus the Volcano. Abel Ferrara's Body Snatchers. The great John Sturgis' Bad Day at Black Rock. Gene Hackman in Night Moves, which I love actually. The Highwaymen. And then Jeff Bridges and Jane Fonda in, of course, The Morning After, about a bunch of drunks, but I like this movie. And then finally, Victor Bueno in The Strangler. Ooh. So there you go. Thank you, George Feltenstein. And that, of course, means this episode is sponsored by Warner Archive. If you want to see, and by the way, if you want high bit rates and great transfers, even with movies like Night Moves or, hey, The Bermuda Depths, Warner Archive. They've got higher bit rates than Warner Home Video.
Please.
That's right. So there you go. Thank you, George.
So,
okay, but you want me to show you the coolest thing that George gave me?
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw a couple months back. There was a picture from a soundstage where Warner Brothers was like going to get rid of all these old movie posters and things.
Okay.
So it was
Did
terrible.
You post something like this on Instagram? No.
Yeah, somebody posted. They were throwing all this stuff. I mean, there was, if you took those out to a collector, like someplace, there were tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of original movie posters, original stills. George got involved, and they went and, before everybody rummaged through them, they were able to reclaim a lot of the stuff and put it in the archive, stuff that was useful. But George, so I've been joking with George about the 1966 Italian Franco co-production Wild Wild Planet. And I'm like, bro, you guys put the green slime on Blu-ray. How come Wild Wild Planet is only on DVD? And he's been laughing about this for years. So when George went and went to where they had all this stuff, George Feltenstein, one of the most knowledgeable and people in the entertainment business, picked this up for me. This is what's called a insert card. It's half of a one sheet. This is in mint condition. Ooh. This is wild is the word for this world. This is an original Wild Wild Planet insert. This piece of paper is from 1967. It is absolutely mint. It would be next to impossible to find something like this. They haven't made inserts. I think they stopped making inserts in the early 80s. So this is an original. It was never used because it was in the Warner archives. And how you can tell it's hard to see, but right on the bottom, right here, there's a company in the white border. You can't really see it. There was a company called the National Screen Service Corporation that used to print. They had offices across America. I think there was 5 offices. They printed all of the posters for studios for all of the movies. So there was a code. There was the number of the number of the release of that year. So on this poster, the National Screen.
That's what they put in the white box.
No, well, you can't. This was the 67th. This was the 67th release after there were 201 movies or something that they were making in 67. So this is that, and so.
How did they keep it in that kind of great condition, Rob, for all these years?
Well, they probably had it like flat, like they're just stacked for. But to find original movie posters is insane. Now he also gave me these. This is what's called here. I'll go full frame on this. This is what's called a half sheet. So an insert is half a movie poster vertically. A half sheet is half a movie poster horizontally. So it's smaller than a movie poster, and they had more. They could. So George, this was here. He gave me this. This poster. Oh wait, I went on the wrong. I didn't go on me. I went on you.
Yeah.
Hang on. So this poster is from 1960. And this The Magic Boy is the very first animated film that MGM ever released, and it's actually a Japanese movie. It's a Toei production. It is. So this is a half sheet. Again, this is in mint condition. And it's just insane. And to be able to even find this in the wild, I've never actually looked for one of these for this movie, but I'm sure it's, especially because it's animation and animation collectors, I mean, this is not a poster to find. And then in addition to this half sheet, he also found me this half sheet also for Wild Wild Planet. And again, brand new, and it's rolled. I mean, it's insane. And what's really cool is you can see the 3-armed monsters and the miniature people on this poster. I mean, to me, this is what a movie poster is all about. So, yeah, well, I have to get these mounted on linen. These are because of their age. What you do is you have them archival mounted on linen and frame them in either UV glass or UV plexi, so it doesn't. But I mean, these are.
I'll be honest. You would think they throw something like that after your 20 years of pop culture shelf life away.
Well, that's what they're going to do. I mean, and what's interesting is, so at the studio, all they have is, can you imagine rooms full of reams of paper? I have a friend that worked at National Screen in Seattle when it went out of business. This was back either in the late 70s. By the way, National Screen, Warner Brothers started publishing their own posters, I want to say, in 1985. One of the first Warner Brothers, I mean, because I used to be a huge movie poster collector. And I still have a lot of good posters, but I got rid of my collection. All went to a previous company in LA, one of the preeminent previous companies called The Third Floor. They have a poster collection, my poster collection, worth 6 figures, framed and hanging on their walls, because we all used to have the same offices together. But so National Screen stopped printing posters in the mid '80s when the studios took over their own marketing, and one of the first posters that I remember that Warner Brothers printed themselves was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So, yep. And
Great.
you know, the movie poster market has changed a lot. I mean, you still can sell, there's still vintage posters out there that are being bought by people really expensive. But to have these, there's no way in the world I would ever have been able to find a Wild Wild Planet half sheet or a Wild Wild Planet insert shot or a magic or insert could never have in this kind of condition. I mean, these are
they
19
even existed still.
Yeah, if you could find, you can find one sheets, but all one sheets were folded in the middle and folded twice horizontally. So yeah. George is the fucking man. But not only that, I have to say, we had a really great conversation. I mean, the man is so knowledgeable, like at Warner Brothers, you know, and he's such a nice guy. But he has more knowledge probably, and he has friends like Robert Harris, who does all the restoration of films. I mean, these are the people that are their knowledge is invaluable. Like there will never be. I mean, George Feltenstein worked at MGM, you know, and there will never be somebody who knows as much as he does, ever. And in terms of knowing what the studio assets are, knowing what prints are available, between him and his close cadre of people he's worked with, this kind of institutional knowledge is priceless. Priceless. And if I ran Warner Brothers, if I was David Zaslav, I would go to George Feltenstein and say, sir, what should we do with our library? Tell me what to do. How can we maximize? What are the movies that we can put on Max? What can we do? I mean, the man knows. His knowledge is so vast that it bothers me. By the way, he's also got a great office. It bothers me that, you know, he's not at the forefront of, and I understand studio politics and all that. I get it. But just talking to him, and he told me some things, not just about this one title, There's other titles, and you'll notice that Shout Factory recently put out Creepshow, for instance.
Yeah.
That Creepshow disc is stunning. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And George told me that there's going to be other Warner titles that are non-horror titles that Shout Select will be doing, because they now have a deal with that. We're talking from one director. Well, let's just say I confirmed with him that the Natural Born Killers that's coming out from Shout Factory has both. I guess it said it had both versions of it, but both versions are coming out.
Because, Rob, I would have canceled it if it were only the theatrical version.
Yeah, me too. So it is. But, it's interesting. I'm not going to say anything, but it's interesting that Oliver Stone, Natural Born Killers, a Warner Brothers movie, and Oliver Stone.
Okay.
Yeah. Who knows?
3-letter movie, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Should I show my stuff?
Yes.
Got left? Okay. I think probably showed it. I got a little bit Criterion Collections too.
Have you watched that? The transfer is stunning.
Unfortunately not, Rob. It came in Friday. Friday. Always try to save the sticker.
It's great.
Back of it, and actually, a little bit surprised, Rob. There are 3 discs.
Yep.
In this package, and we have help me out here, Rob.
Charlie de Lazarica did the special features.
Oh, nice
Yeah.
to know. So, Selma and Louise. It's a little bit of a nice digi pack. And Rob, wait, I forgot to put the booklet inside. But we always try to broaden our horizon, considering the movie stuff.
I know. I was going to say, Thelma and Louise is a little upscale for you.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of a...
Oh,
look at that.
Of design. So Rob helped me out. So this is the same transfer as your Steelbook from the UK, but with the correct subtitling.
Yes. I don't know, Dieter. Are you going to even understand that movie? I mean, it's a little upscale for you.
Some parts
written by a poet.
German, so the parts in German, I could probably understand.
Yeah, but are you going to understand the larger philosophical meanings and ruminations? Because
I will probably ask Google about it.
Have you ever seen that?
I don't think so, Rob.
Okay, you know what? As long as you don't fall asleep, that movie could change your life.
Okay, Rob. Okay.
It is not. It's not. It's not what you might expect. I definitely
try to save the sticker. The sticker
for the trash.
Here, put the sticker. Put the sticker on the discs, on the cover itself, not on the foil outside. Because I love the.
I'm proud of you, Dieter. It makes me so proud that you bought Wings of Desire in 4K. Okay. Good for you.
Next one, you already showed, Rob, but what you forgot, Rob, perhaps in Bruges, got a reversible cover artwork.
Oh, right. You know what?
You know?
They're killing it.
Yeah, because it's not standard for Kino Lorber to do that, but they do it more often these days. So, great Kino Lorber. If you put a reversible cover artwork in Rouge. Then I think I saw the movie on Blu-ray. Remembering it's a little bit faded. I bought The Ghost in the Shell, a little bit animated Innocence.
Nice. I love that.
In 4K. Came out here in Germany. So 4K and Blu-ray. And it has a nice backdrop of it. So Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. The next 2 German media books, I already bought as the Hong Kong DVDs, but those are the 4K media books. Rob, have you seen Limbo?
No.
No.
I've not.
Don't forget, Rob. Great movie. Great black and white, killer stuff. Great
Yeah,
movie.
I need to see that.
This the 4K media book from Germany, but already the Blu-ray looked spectacular, considering the black and white stuff. Really great movie, Rob. Limbo. I have no idea, Rob. I don't think it's out in the States yet, but I could be wrong. Limbo is the first one. The second one, which I actually, 6 out of 10, but actually not more. The Donnie Yen movie, Sakura.
That's
It's the
cool.
4K media book, where Donnie Yen directed the movie as well. No. So we have some nice production artworks here for the movie. Man himself. So Sakura from Donnie Yen, directed 4K and the Blu-ray. So double set as usual. The next one up you showed, I think last week or 2 weeks in our show. No, I think it was last week. Rob, fingers crossed. I hope it is the last time we bought Waterworld. I hope, Rob. I hope it is the last time.
It's
God damn
4K,
it, Rob.
dude. It's
How
4K.
often- Yeah. With a Dolby Atmos track, Rob, now. And of course, Dolby Vision. And I still love the movie. And I need to figure out to get some time to finally watch the longer cuts. I never gotten around to watch the longer cuts, Rob. Do you find any of the longer cuts better than the theatrical?
Yeah, it's called something. The Submarine. It's not the Submarine.
And just the extended cut.
Well, there's the extended cut and there's like a fan cut. It's called, what's it called on there? It should say on
The
the
Ulysses.
The Ulysses cut. That's what it is. Yeah, I like that cut.
But the 4K is great. Still have a blast with the movie, and of course we get cover inside because Rob obviously only showed it from the
Because you
outside.
know the TV version of Waterworld
Westworld.
added, when it was on ABC, they added like 40 minutes to the movie.
Yeah.
So, and I've always liked.
And for me, Rob, the scene with the atoll, for me, is one of the greatest action scenes put on film. You know, you would never do a movie that way these days. Anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you, the longer cut, I think is really, really, really good.
Okay.
And the Ulysses cut is it's interesting, like with the Coke Dune.
Yeah.
That had the spice.
More like a spice diver.
It's the Spice Diver cut and the Ulysses cut. Having those fan cuts was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Nice. And considering the package, it is the same as the Blu-ray, Rob, I would say. Because you have to be careful, Rob always tells us, because Arrow, the Blu-ray and the 4K releases are
they look like Criterion. I understand they don't have to change the printing because they've got the files, but still.
And I always like movies, Rob, where you have the opening logo of the company immediately put in to the movie. And Waterworld, that's for me one of the greatest, you know.
Yeah.
The future. The polar ice caps have melted, you know. And we're in. We're good to go. And I love the sound is still great. Still have a blast with Waterworld. But Rob, hopefully this is the last time to buy the movie.
Come on, dude. We're not. It's 4K. That's the end.
Yeah. But I already bought, you know, the Universal 4K, Rob. You know, Universal put it out themselves as just a 4K.
But it doesn't have it.
Dolby Atmos track and Dolby Vision, you know. And Rob, you didn't get it, but I got mine. John Woo is here. The Target edition, which comes, of course, with the steelbook.
Great.
Just a nice Nice dog tags at the back.
So you got yours from Amazon UK and I didn't.
Yeah. Exactly. But Rob, if you get yours, even if the second one, this way, I think it doesn't matter. Even if the second one features, my boy Scotty, you can throw that in the trash. Actually,
by the way, it's the
favorites.
second. That's the second time that they've used Ascendia that's apparently lost my order. Second time.
I don't know this company, Rob, Ascendia.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, it's like some Swedish company. It's like it's not real or something. And I'm like, why do they keep doing this?
The brother of the Stone Cold.
Absolutely. It's like Jeremy Irons being. Jeremy Irons is the brother of Hans Gruber.
Yeah. Exactly. And we have some poster, of course, for our target. So I would believe Rob, the transfer would be probably the same as the Kino Lorber.
Yeah.
On the Universal. Would be poster and the lobby cards.
Yeah, great. This is great.
Still have.
It's great, buddy. It's great.
And
I don't have mine.
All Hong Kong directors had to go through a Van Damme picture first,
Yeah, it's true.
Give a Van Damme picture first.
Terrible.
Before you let them do anything else. So hard target. Still great, love it. Put it just quickly aside. And what I've got, even like you, I like the new revised cover artwork, but I wanted to get the original one too, so I had to get a special edition for National Lampoon's Vacation. No. So
that's really nice.
So you have the
Now, who put that out?
original Warner Rob in the UK, and you have the new one that Rob likes.
Yeah.
New on the.
But that's
on
really
this.
cool that they use the original poster. I mean, that poster's classic.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's Boris Vallejo.
But I haven't watched it yet. How the transfer was up, and of course we have a little bit of swag inside it. So a little bit of a vacation sticker. Of course, Mr. Griswold himself. Oh, there's something on the back here too. So both sided.
Yeah.
Let's go to Wally World. And nice picture of the crew. And this is just I put the card on the back. I just clipped it out a little bit so I can
Sure.
put it in the folder too. The poster, just see. Yeah, like Rob said, the classical. And this one is a little bit unknown to me. This one. And let me just see, there is something. Oh no, this was just from the back, which I did cut out a little, put it in there, just put it aside, put it together later, because I have one title left, and for me this was one of the great titles that I got over the last 2 weeks, because music, Rob. Because last week you were thinking, I give it to that douchey douche from Germany. Let's talk Ronnie James Dio and his Dreamers Never Die 4K Blu-ray that will come out. I bought the Super Deluxe Edition, Rob, of the Black Sabbath album Live Evil. And
Look at that.
some people who follow me on Instagram already know it. I always was fond of the album, Rob. Was a good album, but it was not on my top list like the Made in Japan album from Deep Purple.
Sure.
But this one got a new remix of the album. And Rob, and the new remix of the album, for me, I was blown away. Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing from, oh, I will just hear the first 2 songs, just check it out. I went to, oh, I listened to the whole album completely. And I was not aware of that remix, or I didn't have read any reviews about it, what they were saying, because I was just thinking it's a nice package considering what's in it. You can get just the CD versions too, but this comes with a book about the tour of it, so it's really nice, really thick book about the tour. Of course, there's pictures in it. Sabbath on tour with Ronnie.
That's gorgeous.
So actually, I was more at first, Rob, more interested in this stuff, the book and something like that, because the album itself in his original version is, of course, in the package too, just as a, once again, a new remaster, which normally doesn't often offer that much of a difference, So here's the tour program, so, a little bit of a reprint of the tour program from back in the day. Ronnie here. Then we have a poster here from the tour. So, poster artwork. It's the 4 guys. And like I said, you have the album in that original mix, and they did made it late, Rob, so that you have a little bit of a vinyl feeling,
Yeah, of course.
Some sleeves. So it has at least a little bit of a vinyl feeling. So this is just a remastered version. And then you've got the Vin Davis remix of that album. And like I said, Rob, it was like when you got a 4K of an old movie and you have the feeling you are watching it for the first time. So this was like that, hearing it, like I couldn't believe what I was hearing, that this was actually sounding that great. I put in Prologic 2 music to give it a little bit more of a fuller feeling, considering it's a live album. And I was totally blown away, Rob. And actually, I'm thinking already about it, Rob, to put it a little bit ahead of time, perhaps in the top 10 when it comes to the year's top 10 releases of this year, considering I was not expecting this sounding so immensely.
Dude, there's stuff like ABC's Lexicon of Love is getting released in Dolby Atmos, and the new Everything But the Girl album. I mean, these Dolby Atmos mixes are incredible, and when these old 80s albums are going back and getting remixed, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I hope Trevor Horn goes back and remixes every ZTT release. I'd love to get everything from Seal to Propaganda, and of course Frankie Goes to Hollywood to Act to, oh man, it'd be great. I'd love that.
And for me it was, Rob, like a 4K, the feeling you have seen it for the first time, and here it was like hearing it for the first time.
Oh yeah,
I actually had the feeling I'll be there, I'll be there. Because I never would put out the original album for the sound, it's a little bit more like if you would hear the album through a tunnel, but this new remix, I was blown away what you can do with the old stuff, considering a remix. So I was really I was bought it for the swag, Rob, but actually just the remix is the price. Is worth the price alone of the package.
Oh yeah,
because you can get the deluxe edition with the book, with the tour program reprint, but you can just get the CDs as well if you only want to have the CDs. That's possible. Too. Like Sabbath, Live Evil, super deluxe edition.
Man, I mean,
and probably, Rob, in my top 10 of this year if we get to the end of the year. Probably. Let's see what will come out too.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I mean, I think about my favorite, because the 80s, I collected so much music from the 80s, to have a lot of these albums remixed especially by somebody like Trevor Horn.
Yeah.
I'd like
sometimes just the usual remaster stuff for the albums. Oftentimes the album is just has a better dynamic than it had back when it got the first release, but not that kind of big difference considering.
Right, but these Dolby Atmos remixes are like listening to something brand. Like there's like ZTT. Like I was just thinking, because if they're gonna remix ABC, and I didn't realize I have an early Dolby Atmos. I think it was done in 2006. No, it's not Dolby Atmos. It's Dolby Digital. Frankie Goes to Hollywood's. There's a remix, and like I would get like I was listening to my soundtrack playlist on Spotify, and there's a song by. There's a band, there's another ZTT band called Propaganda, and they did a remix. The beginning of the movie, Some Kind of Wonderful, has Watts playing the drums, and it's actually a Propaganda remix. There's a remix disc that I have. I would love to get that particular piece of music remixed in Dolby Atmos. It's awesome. It's an awesome. It's just percussion.
Yeah.
Don't. I love it. I'd love to get that. Yeah. I'd love to get everything Trevor Horn put out. The entire ZTT catalog remixed.
We need more normal music in 5.1 mix as well.
I agree. I would love to get the Eagles Hotel California remix in 5.1.
Exactly.
I would love that.
I'm always a little bit bummed out when the Super Audio CD is just the stereo mix. It's nice, but it would be nice to have a 5.1 mix. Can do great stuff with that. So Rob, I'm putting stuff back together here.
Okay, well I got some super chats here. Didinks says BFI are doing a Powell Pressburger season incorporated restoration of I Know Where I'm Going. I didn't know that either. BFI is crushing. I mean, Powell and Pressburger are one of the great teams in cinema history, and of course Martin Scorsese oversaw the restoration of the Red Shoes, and I think Tales of Hoffman was restored, but that's really interesting that they're doing that, and they should. I've never seen I Know Where I'm Going. I'd like to see that. Okay. That's really exciting. Michael Preston said, no relation to Powell and Pressburger, just because his last name is with a P. Michael Preston, different than Powell and Pressburger. I know it's not a movie, but I just got the new Legend of Zelda hardcover, and it shows the entire game. I love it. Did you get the new Legend of Zelda?
No, because, like I told you, I'm not into Nintendo anymore.
Oh, well, geez, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
because Nintendo said, HD, you want to play games in HD? No, we don't do that. We don't do that right now.
Well, that's a good reason. Our friend Justin Toner, the man, the myth.
Okay, goodbye.
Justin says, hey guys, looking at getting the Renown Western box set from Criterion this week. I got a good haul already from the Barnes & Noble sale. Dieter, who put out that Cynthia movie? I assume it's Region B only.
Eureka, Rob.
Eureka, so it's Region B.
Exactly.
Well, that's good. A Region B player. Yeah, you have to get another Region B player. Another reason for me to get a Region Free player. You should, because it'll change your life. Michael Preston said,
and close and your wallet.
And yes, absolutely. Len McClassic, like Isaac McClassic, has renewed his PGS Hero membership. Well, thank you so much for that, Len. Appreciate that. Remember, there's a member call. I have to. Next week is San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if there's going to be a member call on Saturday. I'm not sure yet what I'm doing. I don't have any panels. I have a panel Thursday and a panel Sunday. So there will not be a Let's Get Physical Media next Sunday. We're going to move it to Monday.
Yeah, we talked a little bit.
Yeah, we're moving it to Monday.
It's not set in stone, but we're planning to do it Monday at the same time.
Yes, Monday at the same time. So we're going to do that. And Michael Preston, again, says, I also recently bought Something Wicked This Way Comes from the Disney-only version available on DVD. I'm also happy I previously bought Dogma on DVD. Yeah, because, absolutely. It's hard to get those things. And Something Wicked This Way Comes is only available from the Disney Club, I think. I think it's only available from Disney Club. I don't have Something Wicked This Way Comes. I'd like to get that. Mark Spector's Avatar sends in a super chat and says, I want the NC-17 cut of Basic Instinct. Well, as we all know, it was released as part of the box set and the steelbook that Studio Canal put out in Europe. It's not available here yet, though. It's not domestic. And, while it has a little bit of an orange and teal feel to it, it still is the best transfer. It's by far better than any other transfer because the previous home video transfers have sucked.
Yeah.
So, but you can get that, and it's worth getting. Adventure Square says, what would be your favorite poster to have as a conversation piece? Maybe a very large one which would spark a conversation you could merrily have over and over again. Well, I do have a very large Japanese Apocalypse Now poster that was painted by, I can't pronounce her name, but she was the costume designer on Coppola's Dracula, with a double frame. It was so funny. Elizabeth's like, you're not putting a war poster in our media room. Exactly. You can't have it in the house. And when I finally put it in there, she admittedly said, okay, because the frame on it alone was $2,500. It's double framed. It's amazing. You can see it on Instagram because I put a picture of Gilbert sitting underneath it. That's always caused a conversation. And I think if I framed, I have an 81-inch, I have what's called a 4-sheet. A 6-sheet. A 6-sheet in the United States is 6 1-sheets put together in one image. So it's 81 inches by 81 inches. And it's in 4 pieces. So I have to get it mounted on linen and then framed. But what are you going to do with an 81-inch by 81-inch poster? Like, where are you going to put that? You need a big wall.
Yeah.
So I can't. I would love to put it in this house, but when Elizabeth's mother comes over to watch movies with her husband, Murray, who's the nicest guy in the world, I don't think I would want them sitting beneath a poster that says, being the adventures of a young man whose principal interests are rape, ultraviolence, and Beethoven. I don't think that's going to fly. I could probably figure out a wall in the observatory, but then I have to, make room for Maja cases. So, like that. I mean, I have a bunch of posters that I still have that I need to hang up or get something done with them. But
that's for a panic room.
Yeah. Dinks says, Trevor Horn once said that the Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas, I have that record, I bought that when it first came out, restored his faith in humanity. The Cocteau Twins started, they were my 2 favorite record labels in the 80s. Well, actually, there was probably 3. My 3 favorite record labels in the 80s were Beggar's Banquet, 4AD, and ZTT. And I would buy anything that came out on Beggar's Banquet, 4AD, or ZTT. But, so the Cocteau Twins started on 4AD. That was their record label of choice. And they left 4AD. And if memory serves, I have to look at this and see if I'm correct about this. Yeah. Yes, it was. The Cocteau Twins left 4AD and they went to Capitol Records. I mean, 4AD might have still released it in the UK, but I remember thinking, how dare they? But I understand they got onto Capitol Records. Why not leave 4AD? But 4AD is still one of the coolest bands. There's an awesome book too. And I forget what it's called, but I have it. There's an awesome book on the whole history of 4AD Records. People are like, 4AD, like the Pixies were the first American band signed to 4AD. And they put out, like, Dead Can Dance is 4AD. Man, I love 4AD. I used to buy every 4AD CD. I'd had everything, all of it. I had everything. You could see everything. Science Lady says, I love music. I miss clubbing. It's not the same now. Nothing is the same now. Youth culture is destroyed. Our Black Mirror has ruined it all. Although, you know what? Yeah. I mean, mine has William Shatner from Free Enterprise right there, but come on. You got to love that. See, look. So I can bask in my own glory when I use my phone. How narcissistic is that?
Yeah, do that on Thursday, Rob.
Pretty narcissistic. Yeah, I'll do that on Thursday. So we're caught up there, man. We're all caught up.
Nice. Okay. What are we doing, Rob? Live chat, or do we do the news?
There's really no news except I've got some sales news. There's really nothing cool. I mean, there's a lot of things that were announced on Blu-ray and stuff, but I was like, whatever. Nothing that floated my boat.
It's perhaps more surprising to just show what we bought.
Yeah, absolutely. So here are the top. So, media play news, just so long people don't complain. Here's the top 20 best-selling Blu-ray discs, of which I'm only going to tell you what 10 are. But check this out. John Wick is at the top, outselling Super Mario Brothers and Avatar: The Way of Water at 2 and 3. Evil Dead Rise, and look at this, number 5, Jaws 2, which I'm still waiting to get the deluxe edition of Jaws 2. Dungeons and Dragons, which I showed to Elizabeth, and she quite liked it. The Truman Show, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, The Pope's Exorcist, and Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which I hear is really good. I need to get those. So, not real any surprises there, but it's cool to see John Wick, that he was number 2. He's now taken the number 1 spot, and he's above Avatar. Avatar was number 1 last week. Now Avatar drops to number 3. No, and I want to see it because it's got Russell Crowe, and I got to buy it and just watch it. Now we have the top 20, of which you're only going to know 10. The top selling 4K discs. John Wick Chapter 4, number 1. It was number 2 last week. Avatar: The Way of Water was number 1. It's number 2 this week. Super Mario Brothers went to number 3 from number 4. And then Jaws 2 and The Truman Show, 2 good catalog titles, enter. Avatar is number 6. Time Bandits from Criterion makes the list. Love to see that, 4K. Evil Dead Rise at number 8. And, of course, last week's releases, Mission Impossible. Well, those steelbooks, they've been releasing them in every other week. So Mission Impossible 2 came out 3 weeks ago. Mission Impossible 3 and Ghost Protocol came out last week. And this week, 5 and 6, Rogue Nation and Fallout came out. So there you go. And then finally, here we go for the 3D discs. Avatar: Way of Water, and look at that, 5.97%. So that's for our, when we're in the point percentages, to see 5.97. Top Gun is at 0.70%, and The Croods: A New Age is at 0.9%. But 3D is still hanging in there. And I need to give a shout out to, if I can find it, because I want to show this. I'm going to give a shout out here to, wait, I just had it. Yes, here it is. To Empire 827, or as he's also known, TR-8R, created this fan art for the show. So here's this fan art for the show. Now, this begs, I think he left this blank page here to make it participatory for all of our members and all of our watchers. I would love to see what you all do with this file. What would you put in that white space? What would you put in that white space? Yeah, I'm. What are we chasing? What are we after? So, I like that I'm wearing a Kino Lorber shirt. I look at that. And by the way, I'm getting a little bit more svelte, so maybe not so pudgy in the face, buddy. But I want to say thank you to TR8R or at Empire287 on Twitter for this great 108 physical media. What I want to do is turn this into a. You know what? Let's turn it into a contest. A contest. So where can I put this file? Where should I put this so people can get this file that's downloadable? You know what I'll do? I wonder if I can put this in the members and send this out. So we'll have another impromptu contest. Whoever fills up that white space best will win an award. And again, I'm going to make the audience is going to have to vote for it. All right? You down with that, Deets? Okay, I got to figure out where I'm going. Yeah, we want to see. I think somebody's supposed to put something there. So I want to see, what would you put there? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I do not know. So I'll figure out where to put that, where I'll post that. So there you go. So yeah, there it is. So there you go. I don't know what else to say, buddy. But there we are. So you want to do the live chat?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Okay. I'll figure out where I'm going to put this and go put it where I'm going to put it.
Yeah. Let me just see. Because Strap in people, because the live chat is, of course, featuring 2 shows. Not only the one from 14 days ago, but the solo one that Rob did last week. I went through the live chat.
Oh, no.
Two.
Oh, no.
Yes, Rob. Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You can take a nap now, Rob.
Yeah, because I don't have a lot of time now.
I will try to get through it as quickly as possible. Previously, on 2 shows of Let's Get Physical Media, Five Star Toast. If Harrison Ford is revisiting so many of his previous roles, I would love me some regarding Henry too. That could be really great. Why not? Why not? And that's it. Yeah, I recently rewatched Temple of Doom, and every time I see it, I love it more because Indiana Jones came out 2 weeks ago. And that's it. The whole de-aging thing didn't work for me personally, but I agree that ending was beautiful, especially connecting it to the one specific other scene in the film. Okay. Roman Chopper. I can say Mehrzweck-Kampfflugzeug in German easier than right. Here we go. Altmetall. I read somewhere that Heidi, or Matt Heidi, would make a better Ray. She would make a better Ray. Or Matt Heidi. Crampy 5 did went to see Indiana Jones. Well, I did. I was so bored. Crampy 5 really, Sean, Bad Canadian, called her an asshole, and I agree. Okay. RJ Skorengi, do you agree that they turned Indy into an unlikable jerk in this movie, Rob? What do you think about Indy in the new movie? Unlikable jerk?
Yeah, I that's the thing. I wanted to see more joy. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of it. Where was the joy in that movie?
The Alex Sorber, Bond was a broken old man in No Time to Die. Damn. Andy H. I do have to agree with Kempia that Phoebe Waller-Bridges' character was a bit of an a-hole. Yeah. Adventure Square, the ending of Last Crusade basically said it all. Justin Channels, my favorite part of Sunday, even though I am not nearly as much of a collector as the Pharaoh of physical media. And gladly that you still enjoy our show. And Rob, some people were not taken too kindly that you said, Indy 5 is a little bit like Octopussy, you know? What? Said Das Plagueis, Octopussy is one of the best Bond movies, Rob. God damn it.
Is it though?
Octopussy
is it though?
Octopussy is at least better than View to a Kill. No?
Yeah, it is. I would agree with that.
Certainly agree on that. And Das Plagueis said, every movie with a title that contains pussy automatically gets a 3 bonus on the dice.
Well, there you go.
And my friend Tim Hance, A View to a Kill is the worst Bond film of them all.
I agree.
There we have it. Marcus Bismarck, I was checking my phones multiple times during watching Dial of Destiny. I was bored. Okay. Tom Jr. Jackson, our moderator. I loved Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, and I'm going to again on Wednesday to see it again. Tom, why? Why see it again? Roman Chopper, it's difficult to interpolate between Rob's opinion and others like Nerdrotic, the Drinker, and It's a Gundam. You will find some common ground there, and you will find the truth in it, in between Roman Chopper. You probably like the truth. Roman Chopper asks, or just says, is it true that if Dune 2 had no identity politics, it wouldn't be able to participate in the Oscars?
Well, theoretically, I think that Dune is a pretty diverse film. Yeah. And since Frank Herbert took a lot of the imagery from there, from like Islam and all that, you could make a case that it's pretty inclusive. And for those people that think Dune is a white savior myth, they would be wrong. As you will see if they ever make Dune Messiah.
Messiah. So Dune Messiah would be the third one, Rob, then? Or is it now the second one?
Yeah, the way it was explained to me, it was going to be Dune, Dune Prophet, which would be Dune 2, and then Dune Messiah, which is this. So Denis Villeneuve, I would imagine they will probably, depending on how well Dune does, they would make Dune Messiah because they bring Paul Atreides' story to a. It's not totally closed, but they bring it to a good place.
Okay, nice. Speaking of Indiana Jones 5, Chuck Hayworth. Maybe the movie is just garbage, and that's multi-generational. Robert Thompson Watson, reigniting the franchise, more like buried it 6 foot under. Rob Tucker. Guys, I bought my first 4K player this week. You two have corrupted me.
Yes, we have.
Neither confirm or deny or take any blame for such kind of accusation. But nice that you bought your 4K player. But Rob Tucker, who hopefully bought software first. Always buy software first before you buy the hardware to play. Markus Bismarck, I hate the state of indie in the movie. Like Rob. In Markus Bismarck again, in these students disrespect him and people interrupting his class who thought that's a good idea for the character. Alex Sorba, No Time to Die is better than A View to Kill. Mark Chadwick, keep up the good work, boys. Keep up the good work, boys. Greatest, have you seen the new Arrow Video Bruce Lee 4K collection coming out in July? Of course, we have, Mark. We are aware of it. And that's it. Love Italian zombie movies, Leader.
So do I.
Because I showed Burial Ground, and Nico Mendes Santiago says Burial Ground is prime Italian Gothic gore, which an odd casting of an adult as a child. Okay, looking forward to it. And Rob Tucker, who said he bought a 4K player, Rob, he wants to know any good recommendations for some classic films to get on 4K. Rob, help him out.
Oh,
classic.
Well, first of all, movies that look incredible. If you want, get from Warner Brothers, get the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. Now they're black and white, but they look incredible. And anything like if you can find Lawrence of Arabia, or you get Bridge on the River Kwai, or even the James Dean movies that have come out, Giant in the East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause. Although one of those hasn't come out. Has Giant come out yet? I don't think Giant's come out yet.
Don't think so.
And then I've got a ton of, there's a lot of 4K stuff. 2001, must own. Got to get 2001. Star Trek The Motion Picture, the 4K version, is amazing. But in terms of classic cinema, there's a lot. And I'm going to be doing the R&Bs. I've been working on my 10 and 20 videos, and the first one's coming. It's coming along. I just don't have all the Star Trek episodes in an editable format, so it's taking longer than I thought. But I'll have to make a list because I think I passed 600 4K discs. I think I'll have an actual count in a week because I've been rearranging everything.
Nice to know. There you have, Rob Tucker, your recommendations for your purchases. And we did show Rob 2 weeks ago Avatar 2, of course, in 3D. Tilo Grimm, Avatar 2 is still a bad movie. Okay. Just PT. I personally never got into Avatar. Okay. And demands, if I ever start suffering from insomnia, then I'll go and watch Avatar 2. So not everyone is happy with the movie. Philoe Bedo, when the whale said, "It's too painful," I laughed out loud. Nobody else did. Huh? Perhaps they didn't get the joke. But that was some odd stuff for me too. All the whale talking. Okay. Tom Jr. Jackson, I loved Avatar: The Way of Water, and I didn't get to see it in 3D. That's why I pre-ordered it in 3D, and I'm glad I have it in 3D. Nice. Victor Fontaine, the Avatar 2 4K is pure CGI eye candy. I did get bored during the middle hour, especially with the teenage drama stuff. Exactly. The Alex Sorber. I saw The Devil again last night. It is better than I remembered it.
So good.
How can you remember it just being mediocre, Alex Sorber? So good. Rob Tucker, are the indie 4K versions a lot better than the Blu-rays? From my perspective, they are. Rob, help me out.
They're way better. Way better.
Yeah. Even if the Blu-ray were not particularly bad, but they are all new transfers as far as I remember.
And they're amazing.
And even Crystal Skull, not a bad movie, but it looks really great.
Yep.
Rob Tucker again. I thought my Blu-ray set was good, but like we said, the 4K are a step up. Roman Chopper, I hope I live up to the times when we see a sequel to Hunger Games with an old and broken protagonist. Luckily, Roman Chopper, we will get a prequel in November. So not broken protagonist, so not young Cornelius Snow. Luke's a Blade. Looks like Altitude are releasing 2 media books and a steelbook for Bloodsport in the UK, all 4K. Yeah, Rob mentioned that in the coming attractions last week that UK will get the 4K for Bloodsport 2. Considering The Flash, Crampy 5, let's be honest, this generation doesn't care about Michael Keaton Batman. If it was Christian Bale, different story. What would you... It's a nice idea. Would you think The Flash would have made better box office if it were Christian Bale in that role?
No, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, I look, I really like The Flash, you know, and I found the movie to be really entertaining. I really enjoyed everything about it. I find its failure a little inexplicable. It's one of those movies where I totally missed the mark on in terms of what I thought was going to happen with it. And it's hard to say. Would it? Maybe. I mean, it really depends. But I don't think that was... There's so many things that people didn't like about The Flash. You know, like bumping on the visual effects. I guess I just don't bump on visual effects anymore because I know they're visual effects. You know, I'm just so used to seeing all different kinds of visual effects. And when I see a visual effect, other visual effects are better than others. But, you know, visual effects have never ruined my enjoyment of a movie because I grew up watching, you know, stop motion movies from the 20s. You know, before Willis O'Brien and people were doing like King Kong or whatever. I was The Lost World in 24. I missed the mark on that. But maybe people would have been. It depends how Christian Bale was playing Batman, I suppose.
Yeah, I have 2 points that I wanted to mention. Up considering The Flash and the reviews I've seen. Now listen up, people. The one thing, the baby in the microwave. Have you seen the debris field around the babies? So you can put at least one safely in an unplugged microwave. I didn't get that criticism. I didn't get, Rob. The baby in the microwave. So for me, that's not a criticism. The baby in the microwave. Putting the baby.
Hey, if you can survive a nuclear explosion in a refrigerator, you can survive being in an unplugged microwave. By the way, remember, for that baby, it was probably a split second. Because the Flash is moving, you know, it's and being saved from the explosion.
And it was saved from the debris, Rob.
Yeah.
Around it, you know. If the Flash had more microwaves, he would have put them all in microwaves, probably.
Yeah, man.
And the second one that I often heard in reviews, why didn't he go back and find out who the murder was, especially what who was the murder? Once again, Bruce said to him, don't fuck with the timeline. And Barry was thinking, if I just change the smallest detail, what can happen? Just a can of tomato in the shopping cart and everything will be right as rain. He wanted to change just the smallest thing about it, you know, not go back, find out who the murder was. Okay, here we go. Again, 5-Star Toast. Top Gun Maverick was also a better Star Wars film than the actual Star Wars film from the preceding 20 years. Roman Chopper. Oh, it's always a hard take with you, Rob. Rob hates Skyfall.
Yes.
He does, Rob.
Because it's a movie where James Bond repeatedly fails all the way through the end of the film. He's a failure.
And And Robert Thomas Watson, I come for the R&B runs. And if you are in luck, you will always get one with every show.
You do.
And that's it. I will defend Skyfall until the day I die, Rob, because I freaking love that movie. Conto 007 just watched Avatar Way of Water. Jim is a genius. No wonder it made $2.3 million at the worldwide box office. And Rob, it was, I think, 2 weeks ago on our show. Yeah, some strange habits. Rob, what? And the Legolas said, "What's up with Americans drinking from jars? You people even drink alcohol from jars, and now Rob with water." But Rob, you explained it with the condensing of the water.
No, I mean, look, you know why I like this? Because this is a giant jug of water. People drink from mason jars all the time. I mean, yes, yeah, I'm drinking from this jar. I like it when I like the glass sweats, you know, condensed.
That's what he was.
I like the mouth of this jar is as big as my mouth. So, come on. What's not to love?
The jar drinker. Not the critical drinker, the jar drinker.
Yeah, man. And you know what? People have noticed I've been getting a little thinner. I've been tsunamiing weight away out of me. Walking with the dogs and drinking water. I mean, I drink 10 of these a day now.
Ooh.
10 glasses of these.
Probably you need, Rob, with all the heat.
No, you know what I keep hearing my liver says when I go to bed every night. Thank you.
Not thank you. I was thinking the other way. Where's my stuff? Give me my stuff.
No. My liver's like, thank you. I mean, who knows? I was one step away from my liver exploding from cirrhosis. I'm sure. So it's good, you know. I'll get back to my alcoholism, and you know, next summer.
But then the liver will go, what's that? I don't know how to handle this stuff anymore.
It's funny throughout. It's funny because Comic-Con's coming. I've done that before. I've gone like cold turkey or stopped drinking for an extended period of time, and it was like I think it had been a year. I hadn't had a drink in a year, and I went to my first Comic-Con party. And I was on the roof of some hotel. We're partying, and I'm drinking as one does at Comic-Con, and I hadn't had a drink in a year, and it totally hit me. It totally hit me, exactly. And I was like, oh my god, like my head was swimming. So I walked in I was on the roof of the hotel, but I walked in, and I was in like a corridor of the hotel, and I just sat down because my head was spinning. I just sat down, and I was there for quite some time, and these police officers came.
You're all right, buddy?
Okay, yeah, and they're like, and I looked up and I said, "Oh yeah, sir, officers, I'm fine." And they're like, "Well, why don't we like take you home?" And they escorted me. Now I had a room at the Marriott, which is not very far away, but it's a really nice hotel. And I'm like, and I wasn't thinking. I was like, okay. Look, if you're going to give me a ride home. And I said, fine. And you know, then I started perking up, and I'm walking with these officers. And it was very funny as I walked, you know, I'm walking downstairs with them. And I started going like, is Comic-Con, do you guys get crazy for Comic-Con and all that? And they're giving me a conversation. We're having a nice conversation. By the time we get to the lobby, I could see these officers were like, oh, this guy's fine. And I'm like, so I'm going to the Marriott Marina, and they're like, oh, you're staying at the Marriott Marina? Like they thought I was some drunk or something. Now, but they had already offered me a ride, and I could have said no, you know, but I just wanted to now take a ride in a cop car. I wanted to get dropped off because I'd either pay for a cab. So they literally gave me and it was funny because they couldn't say no because they thought I was like too drunk to function or something, and I was just. My head was spinning, and it was as soon as I cleared up and I got up and walked, it was just so funny. And I knew they didn't want to take me, but I made them take me. I made him give me a ride back to the Marriott, and I went to the bar at the Marriott.
I wonder that one of the cops didn't say, "Do you want to go to prison? Talk to Ong Bak too again?"
Yeah, no.
Do that for you.
I talked to. That was very funny. I hadn't gone to prison yet then. That was pre-prison.
Okay.
Pre-LA County. But yeah, that was a funny because it was funny because the officers couldn't. I mean, they could probably said, "Oh, we don't need to give you," but they had already like I don't know if it was protocol or something that they had to do what they said they were going to do. But it was, I wasn't going to. I felt like I was going to say like Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop. I'm like, this is the nicest, cleanest police car I've ever been in. This is cleaner than my apartment. Yeah, but I did not.
So you didn't need a camera. Clever you.
So I can do that. I can recreate that.
Brian Knight, our letter writer, was in the live chat. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the Joe Biden of the Indiana Jones franchise. Conto 007, I just received Hard Target, Italian Steelbook. It looks gorgeous. Already had the Kino release. Yeah, we are in the... You and I, sir, park our shuttlecraft in the same shuttle. Hey, Homo erectus. Why aren't most of the summer movies not in 3D? Flash, Indy 5, Fast X, Mission Impossible aren't in 3D. Weird. Yeah, but it's unfortunately a trend that's come and gone. Victor Fontaine, laugh out loud. Bond and Star Trek, the two subjects that instantly throws Rob into salty old man mode. Bill Barkley, by the way, I still haven't watched Knights of the Zodiac yet. I really need to get on that. But Bill, I heard not so good things about Knights of the Zodiac. It's that, I believe, that fantasy movie with Sean Bean. And Joe says, just Joe, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Elementals, the Mech 2, Transformers are all 3D. DC stopped 3D starting with Birds of Prey. All DCU films without 3D bombed. But I don't think that's the reason exactly, Joe. Just not being in 3D that they bombed. Will Smith, not Will Smith, with C, not with an S, Will Smith. Silo was great, exactly. Silo was really good from Jordan Tanner. And Aisha said they're already shooting Silo season 2, Rob, but now they probably would have stopped this production.
Yeah, no, nothing's shooting right now.
Nothing shooting.
So I mean, some things are being given a dispensation. Yeah. So,
yeah. Marcus Bismarck, Silo is pretty good. It was very good. Tommy Rignell. Anyone else order Melina with Monica Bellucci from Inbred? I haven't, Rob. Have you ordered?
I did because it's uncut.
Nice. Considering, the great movies I buy, Rob. Shark Escape, Secular Monk says, just say no, Dieter. Just say no. I try, Secular Monk. I try. Come on, that cover artwork. Timmons, give Rob anything with Asian chicks with boobs, and he swells that. Fortunately, there were no boobs in Shark Escape, so he dodged the bullet. With
what
Shark
can I
Escape.
say?
Yeah. Admiral Terje, Tiberius Monk, Terje was in the live chat. Escape of Shark, a.k.a. unnecessary escape of money from wallet. It is what it is, Terje. It is what it is. The Alex Sorber, Matt Heidi, good or trash? You made a mistake, Alex Sorber. Get rid of that or, and instead of a question mark, you make it an exclamation point. Matt Heidi, good trash, exclamation point. Finish. There's no question that you have to put out on this. We had the giveaway 2 weeks ago, Rob, and you can literally say, I feel bad for the giveaway winner. Rob, I actually didn't make a mistake. Adventure Square was the first. Yes, Bill Barkley said it earlier, but I didn't even have asked the question, Rob. And Bill Barkley said already, it's Swissploitation. So
yes.
He even had asked the question when he put that in. So actually, Adventure Square was the first after I asked the question. And Thomas Logan says, Dieter's favorite movie this year this far. Thomas, we will talk about this later. That idea was good. Best movie of the year, that's perhaps a different topic. Alpinal, I think Chris said, Chris Gore, that Heidi would make a better Rey. Exactly, Alpinal. That's what Chris Gore said. And he would have Alice Lucy, who played Heidi, on the show too. But now, with the actors can do any promo. That's unfortunately. So hopefully they will get back to it at some point and invite Casper Van Dien new. Las Plagueis, Matt Heidi is my kind of girl. Exactly. And Johnny Nelson, what I said, giving an answer before the question doesn't count. Exactly. Carlos Maedo said, hold on, is Dieter promoting other YouTubers' merchandise other than Rob's? Yeah, I did with Adam Does Movies, of course.
That's okay. I mean, we promote everybody. We promote other
Yeah.
YouTubers. That's fine.
And Terje, even if he threw me under the bus, he came back to help me out because, Rob, he said, sure, Dieter can buy shark movies with Asian pillows, but you can buy old monkey sci-fi movies. Double standards, Rob. You know, the monkey monster 3D movie that
Robot Monster.
Yeah, Robot Monster, yeah. And Adventure
I didn't
Square
buy it, though.
Added, and Adventure Square added, well, Rob, you were saying things about Deed's shark movie.
It's true.
Adventure Square, to be honest, I bought lots and lots of 88 films releases in the past year based on the poster art alone. Yeah, the poster art is often great. Let me just think. Bill Barkley, do you think, like Fast X, Transformers, Rise of the Beast, and The Flash, that Indy 5 will probably go to streaming pretty quickly? Rob, do you think Indy will?
Probably. I mean, you know, we'll see. Okay. I didn't really even look.
We are speaking of course, digital purchase for Indy 5, not Disney Plus.
Right.
Because they did now the same strategy with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
As a digital purchase, it's already available. So they have changed the strategy a little bit, Rob. They're not just theatrical release and then immediately Disney Plus. So they use the step in between now.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is up to 302 million worldwide. So we'll see where it winds
Secular
up.
Monk. Yeah. Secular Monk, I would love to see some more Kevin Smith on 4K, a nice release of Clerks or Chasing Amy. Yeah, totally. Secular Monk, good trash, knows it's trash, and can make fun of itself. Exactly. Tim Hens, good trash has a decent budget to it, only a garbage script. There you go. This was actually, I think, a super chat from Thomas Logan that went under the radar, Rob, and he asked you, and I think it was a observation, it was not on Let's Get Physical Media. Bobby, tell us everything you know about Ashley Edward Miller's X-Men vs. Fantastic Four movie. If you know if you know nothing, please call Ashley and tell us afterwards, or have Ashley tell us as a special Let's Get Physical Media guest star. Rob, do you know anything that you can tell us or not?
He wrote it with Zach Stentz.
Okay,
that's what I know.
That's
yeah. That's something that would be
yeah,
that would be
a little
iffy.
Too, yeah, subject to discuss.
Yeah.
BM Ferreira, how does Dieter feel about Indiana Jones saying Germans aren't funny? Oh, he's wrong.
Yeah, he is wrong.
I hope so. Kondo 007, I love it when Dieter swears. So funny. So it's a little bit like the Seinfeld situation where he wants to try to get angry, but it didn't work for Kramer. Something like that, perhaps. Demands to you, Rob. Have you ever considered doing a chat discussion with Mark Kermode? That would be nice, but I don't think Mark would have the time. Or
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Mark Kermode, so
yeah, me too.
Yeah, for a long time.
Would definitely be great, especially if you could talk about his documentary about The Exorcist
and the Devils.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. Admiral, with Die Hard, it's like with Indy. There are only 3 movies.
Pretty much. Although Die Hard, a good day to Die Hard, or a Die Hard, is that the 4th one? No, A Good Day to Die Hard is the 5th one. That's Bath one.
Yeah, okay.
What am I even? I can't even speak.
I didn't even remember the titles exactly.
What?
Of the fourth one.
Yeah, why am I drawing a blank on that?
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
It wasn't especially the unrated cut. Wasn't it the unrated cut?
It's a live free or die hard.
Yeah.
I like that. Although you have to watch the R-rated version where he says "Yippee ki yay, motherfucker."
Exactly. It wasn't the Blu-ray only if you bought a 6-disc set. It wasn't available separately. There was something about I believe the unrated version.
You had to get it as part of a set or something.
Yeah, something like this. And you did find out, Rob, about Chris Stuckman, that he wrote a book, and Imran Jabbar said Chris wrote 2 books. He also wrote. He did nice, and Chris did already, and he did a nice video about the situation, considering the strike, and from the actors and the writers was good video too. Anaximanda, longest show ever, no complaints though. Okay, great. Imran Jabbar, nice shirt, Dieter. Adam Does Movies is great. Yeah, Adam is great. Admiral, Witcher season 3. Anybody?
You have fallen out of sync again.
Okay, then put me back and put me coach again.
Yes. I'll put you in again. Now you're back.
Everything back.
Yeah. How are we doing on time? Because I'm running out of time. Wow, look at you. You just got screwed up again. You're
Oh, okay. Witcher season 3 and
hang on, I'm gonna have to do that again to you. I'm gonna have to send you out again because whatever. Hang on, I'm gonna do it again. I'll bring you back. This has been a weird. Now you should be okay.
Okay. Witcher season 3. Anybody? Me? No. Rob, do you watch Witcher season 3?
Yeah, no. No.
The interest is gone. Roberto Suarez, why do they insist on using CGI de-aging when deepfake works so much better? Rogue Finger, I hear fast access over 700 worldwide, so they might be okay with that 1 ounce. It gets some streaming and physical media value. Exactly. Terje was in the chat. Dune Part 2 better than Part 1.
You know what? You just went out of sync.
Is Amazon the best spot?
Oh no, you're good. It was something's going on your. It's an internet issue. It's probably because of the heat
glitching,
or something.
Glitching.
Yeah.
Is Amazon the best spot to purchase physical media? I'm in Canada, and Best Buy no longer have a movie section, and Walmart focus is DVD. I'm looking for 4K. So normally Amazon is one of the sellers I go to.
And if you want to buy boutique copies, you can go. They all sell direct. Vinegar Syndrome direct sells direct. Severin sells direct. Second Sight sells direct. Kino Lorber sells direct.
And they pack better. They pack better. Yeah,
oh my God! Can I just tell you that Second Sight and Vinegar Syndrome, they pack their discs, and so does Synapse. They pack their discs so well because they know when they're dealing with collectors, if somebody gets a dented box, they're going to call up and go, "My box was dented." I mean, Second Sight not only packs things well, they wrap each disc in bubble wrap. Exactly. So, you go Second Sight.
Yeah, you get nice. Bill Barkley, hey guys, just watch Joyride. It was meh. No, meh. Rob loved it. Okay, now we get into last week first. Troy Ulysses cancel the show and reschedule when Deeds is available. I'll wait, but Rob did a fine job himself last week. Alex Sober, my shocking discovery this week is that Dieter won't be on the show. Stubble McShave, the Dieter show without Dieter. What's the word coming to? A Geek of One, don't be the last in line. Get this deal release now. I did get already pre-ordered this. Marcus Bismarck, Sounds of Freedom, box office surprise of the year. Looks good. And then someone like Dieter Bastian was in the live chat. You're right, Rob. just 1.5 million and made 100. I was talking about Insidious. Marcus Bismarck, first Conjuring and Insidious are some of the best scare jump horror. Yeah, they are. And Spider-Verse said, I watched Elemental this weekend. It was fine. Okay. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, $2 million budgets need to be reined in. It's destroying profits. Rob talked about it on his observation. Marcus Bismarck, Joyride is a hard sell with no stars. Could it be a reason, Rob, that you have no stars in Joyride?
Well, it's an indie movie, and it did have an Academy Award nominated actress in it.
Yeah, exactly. And Bill Barkley did go on again. I watched it, Rob, but it wasn't for me. Played out. Rob saw you on the CW Saturday. Good job, yo. He's talking about the documentary about 1982.
Well, thank you.
Ajay Skorengi, Holy Diver, the best Dio song ever. Wouldn't you agree, Ron? He's talking to someone in the live chat. We can discuss it. It's certainly up at the top. Paul in Long Beach. It is hot today in LA. In Rob's area, it's blazing. Notice how his glasses are almost steamed.
That's true.
And that question we get oftentimes, Rob. Where do you get those plastic covers from?
From Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, from Amazon. There you go. Spider-Verse, oh man, Evil Dead Rise was an atrocious watch. The stakes were stagnant as hell in Evil Dead Rise. Okay. I find it was really nice. Adventure Square, I have the Blu-ray blue set of Waterworld. Love those Costner post-apocalyptic movies. Marcus Bismarck, I love Waterworld. So entertaining. Yes, Rob showed the set already last week. Sean L., I'm in the mood for Stallone Cobra. Is there a 4K out there? Not at the moment.
No.
Fingers crossed. Perhaps there will be at some point. Paul in Long Beach. How's that desert lifestyle working out for you, Rob?
Well, it's
Hot
good.
and sweaty, I would.
Yeah. It's good.
Assume.
I like living out here.
And he goes on, make no mistakes, folks. I live on the beach. Rob's new place is the beginning of the desert. Kenneth Crayley Jr. just watched Rob, the first episode of 1982, the greatest geek year ever, last night on the CW, and your appearance in it were amazing. Can't wait for the rest of the documentary.
Yeah, the second episode is available on the CW app now.
Nice. Rob, do we get a physical media release of that documentary?
I know that the Kickstarter backers are going to get one, but hopefully we will, and they'll add more stuff.
That would be nice. Ajay Skorengi, I loved Evil Dead Rise, one of my top 10 of the year. Nice. Top News Daily, I want to know Rob's views on Orville. I'm finally watching it for the first time and have been pleasantly surprised by it. Rob, quickly, your take.
I like the Orville. I mean, it's hit and miss, but I think there's some of it when it has great episodes, they're really, really good. I think that a lot of the time they forewent the science fiction for more interpersonal stuff, which is fine, but it's good. I like it. I like the Orville, nice. And I thought the third season was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and this one comes up also very often. Efren Gussman, Robert, what's the verdict with Free Enterprise? Are you working on releasing a 4K version?
We do not have access to the negative. And until our executive producer allows us access to the negative, there's nothing we can do. And then if he does allow access to the negative, we still have to come up with the money to do the restoration, which is $125,000. So if we were given access to the negative and all that, we'd probably have to crowdfund it or something. But hopefully we'll get access to it. I mean, theoretically, October of this year is the film's 25th anniversary when it had its world premiere at the Sitges Film Festival. And it was released theatrically in 1999, so next year is the actual release, the official release. But hopefully we'll be able to get to it, and I'd love to do a new version.
On Thursday, Rob, is this just a panel, or will they shoot a movie?
No, it's just a panel. We're just doing a panel.
Just a panel. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you are there? Who else?
Mark is there, and Rafer Weigel, who plays me in the movie, hopefully will be there.
Nice.
How much longer do we have, dude? How much longer until you get to...
Not many more. Considering your figures, Rob, considering your band, Bad Gamergate, there should be a Geddy Lee figure. You have a keyboard player and bassman all in one. And the last one, Rob, this is actually the last one. Does Rob have a public email address that people can use?
Yeah. You can write to me at it's a long one, Robert Meyer Burnett at ludovicotechnique.net. There you go. So it's Robert. It's RobertMeyerBurnett at Ludovico LUDOVICO and then the word technique TECHNIQUE.net. So you can always write me there.
I'm through with the chat, Rob. Just quick, I read on a German website that the Guardians of the Galaxy 4K Blu-ray and the Blu-ray will have switching IMAX aspect ratio.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, that's great. So finally Disney's finally releasing an IMAX disc thank God, good for that.
I'm through with life.
Okay, good. Well, first of all, because we got some super chats I want to get through,
yeah.
But because I have to be at an event in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have to drive a long way. But hang on, I've got to find, you're going to love this. So Jim Alaska put this on Twitter. So that's from Jim Alaska. By the way, I did put this cover on both the Let's Get Physical Media Facebook page and my own Facebook page. And Tom Jr. Jackson sends in this. So already it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong, everyone. On like Donkey Kong. So there you go. It's all happening, as Penny Lane's friends would say. So that's pretty funny. So we've got that. So go take it, download it, and do your worst. Show us your greatest Photoshop skills. And then we've got a bunch of super chats. Irene Jobson says, or I don't know if I said Science Lady says I love music and I miss clubbing. It's not the same now. I know.
Yes.
I said that.
You did that. Super.
Irene Jobson says, I know one girl who knows where to put it, Rob. Who might that girl be, Irene? And I'm glad you do. You know, I think all girls should know where to put it, just like all guys should know where to put it, too. You know, that's equality. That's what I like. That's equity. 5 Dot Toast sends in a $20 super chat and says, cheers and have a great upcoming week, Robin Dietz. We will. Thank you for that. I very much appreciate that. 5 Dot Toast, that was very nice of you. Thank you for the support. Very much appreciate that. And Ron C. Sends in a $50 super chat. My God, what do we do to deserve that? Robin D., now you're just D, Dietz. You're dropping the D. I want a shirt that has a picture of you that says, dropping the D. Gentlemen, hello. Movie studios should clean up house and for the time being, look into their movie catalog for media sales, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. Why hold back? Doesn't make sense to me. Well, I agree with you, but it still is expensive to put out titles. It's expensive. And, yeah.
You have to get a feeling which movie will sell.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yes. The Beast, and by the way, Ron C., thank you so much for supporting the channel in that way. But look, I agree with you, man. It's just, it's like $100,000 proposition to remaster a movie. And you got to find, funny enough, it's like, where do you find that money? That's the real thing, is where do you find that money? The Beast and His Temptress says, I watched Wolfen from 1981 for the first time today.
Just a quick one, Rob. This is Andy Becklin's Stairwell Sessions. He changed his name.
Oh, The Beast and okay, Andy. Okay, watched Wolfen for the first time today. What an underrated horror film. Love the way it was shot. Yeah. My first Cat in the Bag too. Have you guys seen it? Yes. Wolfen was one of 3 werewolf movies that were released in 1983 or 83. 3 were in 1981. The other 2 were The Howling and An American Werewolf in London. The Wolfen was much more spiritual and grounded. Yeah. It wasn't so much a supernatural werewolf movie. It was almost like a cop thriller, and it was based on the book by Whitley Strieber. But I love Wolfen. I think Wolfen's really good. Really enjoyed it.
Is it even out, Rob?
Yeah, you can get Wolfen. It's available.
Okay.
It's worth getting. John Thornhill renewed his membership. Well, thank you, John. 5 Dot Toast sends in another super chat and says, I think the one complaint that persists about The Flash for me is that Barry didn't arrive in a universe where Mark Hamill, as the trickster, falsely confessed to killing his mother at the courthouse. Well, yeah.
That would be, like we said, the movie is a little too inside baseball.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill as from the TV show in it.
It's true.
It would be great, perhaps in an extended cut.
It's true. Adventure Square says, by the way, glad to see you pop up between Ron Howard and Roger Corman in the first episode of the greatest geek year ever. Nice. PG represent. Yeah, man, I was there with the luminaries, you know? What a vote of confidence. I haven't watched the new episode yet. I know that I'm not in the Star Trek 2 segment, which I can't believe, but they have heavy hitters in there. When you have the director and Shatner, they don't need me. But I haven't seen the rest of the first episode. Pardon me, the second episode. I haven't seen it at all, so I'm going to watch that today. So it's available. So 1982, the greatest geek year ever. 2 episodes are available on the CW app, which is a free app. So if you can download it wherever you are, I don't know if you can get it in foreign territories, but there it is. And then, of course, Tom Jr. Jackson already sent us a Photoshop of, by the way, I put that cover up on the Let's Get Physical Media Facebook group and on my own Facebook page, so do your worst. And I must run. I am late.
Yeah. Are we through with the Super Chats, Rob?
Yes, we are through with the Super Chats. We are all caught up. And I want to thank everybody. Everyone's been very generous today. Thank you so much for supporting Dietz and I. Look, Dietz, go away and come back again, and people love it. Yeah. So that was great. It's good to have you back.
Ja. Jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. And with that, I say to all of you, have a better day. And every person you meet has a story to tell. Remember all of that, and have a better day. I better get this week. That's all I can say. I better get it. There's going to be hell to pay. That's all I'm saying. I need it. I need it now. And if I don't get it, I'm not going to be a whole person anymore.